going on, go-getters? In this week's episode, we talked to Korey Turner.
Korey is a guru in the clothing space. He shares his insight on what it takes to build a meaningful brand and also shares what he thinks about life and business.
Yeah, guys, make sure to subscribe if you have not already. Currently, 84.6 of you guys that tap into us every week are not subscribed. We got a big bump after the last one, so come on, show us some love. Smack that subscribe button. Let's go. We know you're going to enjoy this one. Let's go. Boom.
Korey Turner in the house.
Go get his podcast. What's going on, man? How you doing today?
Doing great, bro. Doing great. St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, it is.
Irish.
At the time of filming. Yeah, no, me too. A little bit. So it got to be a good day today.
Yo, I appreciate you coming on down, bro. You're not at the pub tonight. You're spending some time with the go-getters.
Yeah, man.
So, had to.
Yeah.
I drove by, what was it, River Grill?
Riverside.
Yeah. They were jumping down there.
Really?
Yes, sir.
I'm not surprised.
They get after it down there.
Yeah. Today's the alcoholic holiday. We have a few alcoholic holidays, though. There's we got New Year's Eve. We got St. Patty's Day. What else we got? Valentine's Day. You can, toss that one up.
Thanksgiving, my family goes crazy.
Yeah, no, that is another. And, Christmas Eve and shit, I know. I think people just pick any day that's considered a holiday and just choose to drink on that day because it's more fun.
Doesn't even have to be a holiday, bro. People be like, yo, Thursday, gotta get lit. Saturday, gotta get Sunday, Monday, you know.
Stay hard.
Merry fucking Christmas. Yeah, that's one of our weird things. I turned 21 in December, this most recent December. Yeah. So I've been 21 for 4 months now. I haven't been in the bar once.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Yep.
Granted, I've legally drank. I've went to my buddy Jake I was just telling you about before the pod works at the Woodlands. So we went to the Woodlands on New Year's. No, it was Christmas, right? It was it was the night of my birthday party, wasn't it? I forget. I went to that weird sweater fucking thing that they were doing at the Woodlands, and I had a couple drinks. But that was the only time I ever went out and drank since I've turned 21.
Yeah. I had a house because when I was going to Kings, me and my boys, we all had a house up in North Main. So
there you go.
Before that, we would be freshmen getting into the parties, this and that, and then they would shut it down and be like, all right, we're going to the bar. Get the fuck out. And I always be like, I'm never gonna be like that.
Yeah.
But it just only made sense because then all my friends started going to the bar. And I want to be around my friends, so it's just all right.
Yeah. Luckily for me, none of my friends really drink. He is sober. He doesn't do anything. My friend Brian downstairs, his roommate, I've known Brian my whole life. He's been one of my best friends forever. He hardly does any drinking. Definitely doesn't go out or anything. My only real close friend that does drinking is just my friend Jake, and he's a bartender, so it makes sense. I was always and if I was gonna be drinking with anybody, it was just my friend Jake. I never had the group of friends that you would get with and get fucked up and have that kind of fun. In high school, sure, but not really so much outside of high school.
Right.
You gotta be careful in that realm, bro.
Yeah, you do.
Especially when you're trying to create.
Yeah, when you're chasing dreams, man. I mean, for me, because I know, I have an addictive tendency. I have a more addictive personality than most people. So, I know that lifestyle's fun. I choose to avoid things that I know are inherently fun, but I know are also inherently bad for you. I just try to avoid those things that I know I'll get addicted to them easily.
That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
I think I have the same tendency as well. I have ADD, and me and my mom, we both have it. So we kind of always just, talk about it together and figure out exactly how we're feeling, this and that. And she pointed out recently to me that I kind of go I'll be really, really interested in something, and it's just a big roller coaster. Yeah. And that's kind of how an addictive personality works, where I'll get addicted to creating. I've seen it in a micro kind of way with design styles. Yeah. It's because I'm designing always, and so I'll be really, really addicted to making one design style, beat it to the ground. And then my roller coaster will start going damn, I don't even, and I lose motivation, and then it picks back up, and it's just always like that,
That's kind of the point we're at right now, because funny enough, and we'll get into it later on, but I don't know if actually, because the first time we meet up, we were talking about our merch. We have been heavily focused on just concepts and designs for our merch that I've been so obsessed with just sitting down on my computer every day and trying to design the pieces of merch that we want to put out.
Right.
It's a whole new realm for us. And I've been so addicted to every day when I get out of my regular job, I come home and I just cannot wait to sit on my computer and just grind on those designs, because it's just so much fun. And I know when they're done, it's the outcome is just gonna be mind blowing, what we have coming.
Bro, it's a high that you just strive for, but that's exactly how it goes for me when I'm designing stuff.
Yeah.
Someone will come to me with an idea, and it usually will go if I have a client, if they have an idea that I can tell isn't fully developed, and I know that they're gonna if I add my own creativity, they're gonna cut back and be let's just make it simple, but this and that. Or someone will give me like a really, really baller ass idea, and I'm like, let's fucking go. I make something crazy. I just love it, bro, because then I make it, they print it. Yeah. Sometimes we'll get shit sent to me for free, bro, and I'm like, let's go. That's
cool. I really don't understand the merge game at all, truthfully. I'm sure you probably got that vibe the last time we were talking about this shit, but we are like just at the step now where like we're just I don't know like what your process is, and you can walk us through that in a little bit, but like the first thing we decided to do with this whole like merch idea was to just get the ideas and concepts that we actually wanted to have on the shirts. Like I don't know shit about quality or fabric or manufacturers or like what the best route to go is. Like I don't know what you would call this shit on my shirt versus like what's on your shirt, because that's like the actual paint that you like brush on the things, then you like do the hot press or whatever. See, I don't understand any of that, so we are literally just in the phase where we're just coming up with the designs. But that's like my favorite part of everything that we do, because I like to look at myself as a very creative person, and that's just such a fun rabbit hole to go down and just toying with it for hours. Oh, I don't like the way this shit look. Let me tweak it here. Let me change this. Let me flip that. And it's just, I don't know. That's something that really drives me, and all of my creative endeavors is just like trying to figure out that next problem that is like getting in our way of what we're trying to do.
Right. Yeah. And being a creative, bro, it's problem solving.
Yeah. Literally.
Just it depends on what platform you do it in. Whether it's you're making music or this or that, it's problem solving. And like when it boils down to it, the root problem, the why is like you're trying to make the platform. Yeah. You know? And then that problem kind of like unveils into like, okay, but I want to make shirts, and so then you want to make shirts, this and that, and it creates what you create.
Especially like when you don't understand the game at all. It's like we kind of just threw ourselves into it. Not that like we're focused more on just the production of our merch and clothing than we are like the podcast or everything else we have going on, because it really is just a subcategory of like our whole like empire that we're trying to build here. But it is very interesting. I'm excited to see where it goes. I've been working on it very, very, very consistently. Pretty much all of my podcast related time, outside of like producing all the shit that needs to be produced, has just been designing clothes. And it's fun because the problem solving in that is like I didn't understand it at all. So it's completely foreign language to me.
That's where all the problem solving usually comes, is the back end shit.
Yeah.
Behind the creative element. Like you know what you want to create, but you have to find out how to create it, what type of software to use, who you have to talk to, you know, how to manufacture shit, how to go about the logistic side of everything. Yeah. Having to do with creating.
How to pirate shit. Nah.
That's funny.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Because the simple idea is like, that's actually funny you said that, because I've been doing shit like, well, I wouldn't necessarily say pirating, but like I would like take something I see online and like, say for example, like a font. Like I really like the way a font looks online. I'm like, oh, I got to use that font. Like that font's fire. So I'll try to like implement it in some way or try to find something similar. So like I do shit like that, but no, I don't know. It's a crazy game, man. That's definitely a crazy game. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah. One of the biggest things I learned about when I first started designing, and this is kind of like, people really like don't think about it like this way. They'll first start designing clothes or designing, you know, whatever it might be, cover art, and they will be like, oh man, like I found this font. I don't know if I could use it. I don't know if I'm going to get sued. Realistically, like at a micro level, like when you're a startup, man, you could steal the McDonald's logo. Yeah. They're not going to hire it. They're not going to send their legal team to come get you for like the $20-$30 you made. You know what I'm saying? I see that a lot in the clothing game. People will do like, and you have to understand too, there's like a lot of like laws. Like, do you guys know about, why can't I think of the name of it now? I'm drawing a blank.
All good.
Fair use, the fair use doctrine.
Oh, kind of.
No, what is that?
So, like there's a lot of things that are just straight up protected by the law that you could just do. So if you take something, right, and it's defined as a parody, like, you know, people make parody music.
Yes.
That's just completely protected. You can totally do it because it's a joke on something. Yeah. You know? And then like with fair use, if someone wants to sue you on the fair use side of things, they have to prove like, you hurt my sales, you hurt my brand image, you hurt my, you know, this or that. All that stuff is very hard to prove, you know what I'm saying? Because you're making a couple hundred shirts, you're making like $1,000. It's like not, unless if you're literally like, you got this crazy platform that absolutely just blew up and now you're the size of Nike, that's when you have to just be like, oh, I got to get a legal team, I got to get this fixed, I got to get copywritten here, you know, that kind of stuff.
Like if you steal a market share of what they got going on.
Exactly.
That's what. Is that why you see all the time? Like people will like say or they'll I guess you could say parody like literal Nike shit. Like I be seeing shit on Instagram all the time. It'll be
just
like,
do it.
Yeah,
shit.
It'll be like Stewie like with a knife, and it'll be like just do it, like
just
shit like that.
It,
yeah,
right?
just do it. Like them funny or like the I don't know if it would fall under the same category, but like the shit you see at like a boardwalk, like there's a lot of like shit like that on the boardwalk where people just produce these like very pieces of shitty clothes, but like it's all some kind of like knockoff or parody of like another brand that's out there. I don't really know if that ties in, but
sometimes it is parody when you get to the boardwalk, but a lot of the times those guys are just like, they'll heat press whatever you give them. It's like, yo, I want to get a Nike shirt, can't afford it. All right, say less. I have this 50-cent blank. Bring me the logo. Just done. And
that shit's funny.
Yeah, and that I could see like right now Nike has been on like a rampage. I don't know if you guys saw, but they've been suing people like crazy.
Really.
Yeah, Nike specifically. There's a couple of guys that make shoes really similar to Nike.
Yeah,
and they kind of just like it's pretty much the same shoe.
Yeah,
but they just swap the logo,
like the dunks you're talking about.
Wasn't it
right?
for like a star or some shit? Like I think I just seen
Lightning
something
bolt.
like that.
It's
Yeah, that's what it was.
Right?
And it's crazy because there's
I believe so. Yeah.
There's these two like companies, and I forget what like the backstory was, but they know each other. And the one dude bit the other dude to teach him a lesson, and so like he like challenged him. And was like, "All right, bet, keep selling the same shit that I am. I'm gonna do better than you."
Yeah.
So there's these two brands. One's on the East Coast, one's on the West Coast.
Oh boy.
And they just started selling literally Nike shoes with a replacement for the swoosh. And Nike sued both of them.
Well,
rightly so, you think?
I don't know, rightly so for sure, but I don't know currently like how it's going. I know the one dude tried to sue back, and the other dude went to jail for something else. The other dude went to jail for like pirating and selling like Roku sticks or something.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, you should belong in prison if you're pirating.
Roku sticks, or like you deserve something. But like, what do you think that is though? Because I would imagine like copying just the design of a Nike shoe is not what makes Nike so special. Like what makes Nike so special is the logo. So like I feel like you can copy Nike shoes as much as you want. They will never perform as well as a pair of Nike shoes will actually do because it's not connected to that same swoosh that like Nike has mastered.
Well, hold up. I think though I think why Nike is very successful is because Nike gives you a feeling. Yeah. Nike makes you feel like an athlete kind of. Yeah. And I don't know who we were talking to that one day, but do you remember, and please jog my memory if you remember who this was, but who was that person who said, if you can imagine a Nike hotel, you could probably picture exactly what that would look like.
I think it was the Justin Pod.
And they were talking about branding.
Yeah.
You know, like brands really have a good way of establishing themselves. So if they were to create anything, you could probably get a good idea of what they're doing. So I think that's why they're really successful.
That's when we were talking about like the Nike hotel, right? Yeah. Because like they've mastered that feeling thing, like that vibe, like that. Like when you think of Nike in your head, you think of like clean, you think of like sleek, you think futuristic, you think like
quality.
Yeah, quality. Because most of their shit that they make is really good quality. That's what you think of. It's like the Apple effect too. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But like I wonder like for those people that just because I knew that was a big thing. I knew that like the people that were copying and I know a lot of people do that. Like I'm pretty sure, I don't know who it is or what sport they play, but I'm pretty sure there's like either a basketball player or some kind of football player or like an NFL guy or something that has done something he might even be one of the guys that you're referring to, but he did like a pair of Nike shoes that they were based off like what are those like high top Nike shoes that everybody wears to the gym? Like you
Blazers.
Yeah, the Blazers.
Hey,
yeah.
Are you wearing them? Yeah, he's actually wearing them. That's crazy. It was those, but I thought it was the same thing. That's why I said star before, because I think it was like lines, and then it like went up, and then it was like a star, like where the Nike logo would be. I don't know, but they looked very, very, very similar. You could tell that they took the model for a Nike shoe and just put a different logo on it.
I think you mean the Bapesta. The Bapesta.
Let me look it up.
It's that one has a star. I'm not really a sneakerhead.
And you find it, Kev, if you find it, put it right here.
Bing! You said Bay Pestas?
Yeah. I think so.
Bay Pestas.
But the thing about it is, and I think that Nike specifically, like, it's like timing.
Yeah, it was.
Can I see?
Yeah, it was these. Oh, they're on GOAT. So apparently, like, they are, damn, them shits can go up to 4,000. Oh, they're Bape shoes. That's what they are.
Oh, Bape.
Yeah.
Pesta or some shit.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like these right here.
Yeah.
You see with the lines and the star?
Looks like an Air Force One.
I'm pretty sure that, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that they're like a part of Nike or some shit.
Yeah, that makes sense. They do like their collab. It's like the Supreme thing. Like Supreme can collab with Nike and fucking put like Supreme on a shoe or something.
The thing about what I was saying was like Nike, it's like timing with how people are trying to make shoes now. It almost kind of has to be like Nike.
Yeah.
Because Nike was like, with their shoes, like from the 90s, like you can't make a shoe anymore and like have it not look like Nike.
Yeah.
And if you do want it to even like be nice, it's gotta somewhat look like Nike. You know what I mean? Just because they made like the silhouette, the dunk silhouette.
You think they figured it out?
They figured it out for sure, yeah. I see people trying to do like different like I guess leather stitching and patterns, and it works, and they come up with something good, but like realistically, man, it's like it's the dunk silhouette, it's the Air Force silhouette. You have to.
It's that same like regular. It's that same design that everybody kind of just toys around with and creates something new. I actually was thinking about this the other day when I was by myself. I was thinking about like I was actually listening to a podcast where somebody had mentioned something very similar, but it was like the monopoly that certain brands have on the world that we don't consider monopolies, but I don't think some of these businesses will ever get surpassed by another business. Nike's one of them, Apple's one of them. Like, how do you ever possibly compete with a company like Nike?
Exactly,
Especially like if you're a new guy, like say like you're me with like the capital that I have, say I want to compete with Nike. Where the fuck do I even start? And I think that's like what turns a lot of people off of even trying to compete with these like big giants in their space, like Nike or Apple. Like, how do you compete with those people? You don't.
You don't. And what's unfortunate about it is that it turns both ways. Not only does it discourage the little guy, it'll discourage the little guy from the customers. Right? So, for example, like I'm sure you guys have heard, like a lot of those big companies, Nike, they'll like exploit child labor internationally, and we're expected to compete with that. We cannot.
Just can't. Unless you go do it yourself.
Exactly. And what I've seen is like, it's unfortunate because it's like we're in the same ballpark. Like if you're an athlete and you're in the AHL versus the NHL, you're competing against AHL, like guys in the AHL, vice versa. But if we're selling clothes, like we're competing against other people who are buying clothes, are buying clothes from Nike. And what I've seen, like I've released clothes, and like it's just like, you know, a few man team. I'm getting it manufactured overseas. I'm putting up the bread. I'm designing it. I'm shipping it. I'm doing the content, everything. And people will straight up be like, how come Reebok doesn't take this long? You're not like Reebok. I'm like, no shit, I'm not like Reebok, dog. I don't have international facilities. I'm not exploiting child labor.
Huge warehouses all over the country.
Exactly,
But
it's just not fair.
We're kind of in the era though where like I think I wouldn't say people are stepping away from like the clothing chains like Nike or fucking Adidas or any of those companies, but I think we definitely are in an era where people love custom pieces. They like one of ones. They like a new feeling. Like they like that new thing. Like brands are popping up all over the place now. I think we were talking about that the last time we were having a conversation, and it's just because like we're in that era where expressing yourself through like clothing and fashion is such like a popular thing to do right now.
Oh yeah.
So it seems like a lot of people
every day.
Yeah. Well, how so? What do you mean?
So I mean, we live in a capitalist society. So people are monetizing information. People are monetizing new methods. Like when I started my brand back in 2018, I was fighting for inches to get you know, the plug for the next manufacturer, or I'm hiring someone that translates so that they could talk to the manufacturer. The manufacturers in China. Today, you have $20. Go to like most brands' websites. They're not stupid. They're literally selling their manufacturer list. Done. Got it.
Really?
Yep. Just order it. Just design it. Order it. Got it. You could buy designs.
Wow,
they sell their manufacturer lists.
Yeah, they sell manufacturer lists, designer lists, influencer seating lists.
You're talking like big brands, right? Like Nike, like Adidas. These people. I mean, not those specific ones, but
no,
like
not them. They because they're in the end game. They're trying to hide that stuff. They don't want you to know. On top of that, they bought out most of their manufacturers.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's mostly like the big like. There's like a big scene of people making like just art in general, but clothing on Instagram and on other social media platforms, and like the people that have generated like 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers, they're selling manufacturer lists and everything.
I think we were talking about that too. That last time we were having a conversation, I've seen a big rise of people just selling designs themselves, like not taking the step or the initiative to like start their own brand, I guess you could say, and like doing it that way and carrying out your orders or doing that. They'll just come up with a design and they'll just list it on like Instagram to be purchased. Like you could purchase my design and you could put my design on your shirt and you could sell it like for full profit because you now own the rights. Really?
Yeah.
So you sell your designs online to people?
Yeah. So I have a page called IMMORTAL Graphics.
Yeah.
And either I have like two ways you could buy a design. Someone could come to me and say, hey, I want you to make a design for my brand. This is my idea. This is my logo. This or that. Let's hop on a call. You know, I could do it.
Yeah.
Or they could be like, hey, I see this design that you made that it's just kind of generic and you could replace this, you know, it's cheaper. But yeah, I do that for sure.
So what's like your, I guess we could just jump right into this now. What is your like design process like? Can you walk us through that? Like how do you get these ideas in your head? Do they just come and go? Is it like times in your life? Is it like certain emotions or vibes or feelings that you're going through in life? Walk us through that from like start to finish, kind of like how you come up with your concepts for not only like the end goal or like the end product, but like how does it start? Like from start to finish, walk us through that process.
Yeah. So honestly, everything that you just listed, it could be like a combination of all of them or a combination of very few.
Yeah.
Depends on the design. Depends on the day, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, so if I just, someone comes to me and say that, hey, I want like a really cool design. I want a Grim Reaper and a cool Lamborghini in a city.
Yeah.
Like, all right, sweet. Yeah. So I'll start scrolling through Instagram.
Yeah.
And being like, all right, other people that did something similar, how'd they do it? Try and find what color schemes they use, how much. And I guess you learn and your brain grows to look for different things. Okay. So like a layman designer, like a very like novice designer would be like, oh, like purple is the way to go. Got to start using purple. Yeah. Versus someone who's been designing for mad long, they'd notice like something like contrasts, design principles. You notice stuff like that, you incorporate that kind of stuff. That's kind of how it goes with me. It depends on, I ask the person like, hey, so my style, I love doing streetwear thing, like real grainy designs. Yeah. Is that what you're looking for here? Oh yeah, that's why I came to your page, blah, blah. All right, sweet. I go to like, for example, Pinterest, Bing Images. I just start scrolling for source images. Okay. I find whatever I could use, I take it, change it completely to like be mine. If I found like a skeleton and its arms were like a different way, I can find different pictures of femurs and bones, cut them off, face them a different way, so that it's like the perfect thing for the design. Okay. I mean? Yeah. So
do you ever like, I guess you're typically like you're making and selling designs to other people. Do you ever just like sit down and like riff on your own? Like, like that would be really like just some shit like musters up in your head. Like, that'd be really cool. Like I'm gonna go home and I'm just gonna sit down and like just play with that, see how that works.
Yeah, 100%.
Really, because that's like kind of where I've been. Like he and I will get an idea. Well, we just decided to. And you're probably gonna look at us like we're some children because it's like we're very new to this game. But he and I, we thought about the other day, like for this first merge drop that we do, we wanted to call it Phase 1, right?
Yeah,
like
this is cool, man. We gotta get into this.
Yeah, because it was like this is like. We're like right now in our business and in our empire, we're in Phase 1. We're in like the very beginning. We're just starting. We're really hot right now. We're trying to do all these different things at once. But the root of all of our problems right now is time, money, just like overall wisdom, the capability to do all the things. Like we have so many ideas, but we don't have the capabilities that we need to do them. So the idea for the drop was called Phase 1. I just thought in my head, and we have these hoodies. I don't have mine. He doesn't have his on him. One of us typically are wearing it, but it's just like a go-getters hoodie, all black with like our colors, blue and orange, just go-getters across the chest and like varsity font that his grandmother made us for Christmas. And we always really liked the idea of like our logo, but like in the varsity font. So just like literally yesterday, we were on the ride home and I was like, we had that initial concept for like the varsity, just the font, but I didn't know what I wanted to be on the back of it. And then I get home and I'm like Phase 1, like think about like a jersey, like a football jersey, like how you have like your nameplate on the back and then you got like the number, like whatever number you are in the back. So I just put like the Phase 1, like your number was 1 on a jersey, and then it has like Phase is your last name. I thought it was fire. So like it just like instantly came to my head. I'm like, let me go home and toy with that, see how that looks. And I was just toying around with it for a few hours and I really fucked with it. So
we should tell them about the other one too. We had the one we designed was talking about Phase 1. One of our trials right now is the money game. Finding funding to get equipment that we need and to be able to go on trips that we need to go on and stuff like that. We have a ton of potential guests all around the country, all around the world. Really.
Yeah, literally all around the world.
And and so we made a go-getter shirt with this thick, heavy white T-shirt with like go-getters, but with the font of like money
that
font.
You would see on like a dollar bill, like where it'll say like "In God We Trust" or whatever, like whatever it says on the bill, like that font with like the lines going through it, like your dark green, just like across the front.
And then on the back, we were just playing with a bunch of stuff. Like we were just fucking with stuff, putting like dollar bills back there, yin yang logos. I think he had like a dragon on it and a tiger. It was pretty cool though.
Yeah, there was like out of all like the designs, we're kind of like completely airing our whole
We
kept all of this shit secret up until this point. Like we haven't told anybody because we wanted to like finalize at least our concepts so we could start posting them and trying to like build a little bit of hype for it. Because our goal is to release this shit by like June, July, but like we're aiming for like July.
Yeah.
So it was gonna be like kind of like a summer drop, and then we planned on doing this was all public information. We dropped all this shit for, I think at the start of the year we told the people we wanted to do this, but we wanted to do a drop around that time. Then we wanted to do a drop around like Christmas or like just winter time. So we were just toying around with some like summer colorways, some summer designs. But truthfully, it really just came down to like what what kind of represents our brand right now, and kind of just toying off of those couple of things. That's why he was saying like the yin and yang. That's like kind of where we are. We got the yin and yang flag, the money thing, the varsity tee, just because we really fucked with like that font, and we've been talking about that font like ever since day one. Like if we were gonna make merch, we wanted to do some type of like that varsity, like that university font. Like it just looked really cool, and then like those kinds of things. So just the tie in with our brand.
We're still in an interesting phase though, I think, where we're trying to figure out our brand still.
Yeah,
for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
So that'll be like that from the whole time.
Yeah.
So
you're involved with like 3 different brands right now, right? That you're putting in work with.
Yeah.
So that's Immortal Graphics. There's SIKADELIXX, and then what's the third one?
So I work with a company called Limitless.
Limitless, that's right, Limitless. Yeah. So what do you think it takes to build like a successful brand and to get a good idea of like who you are? You know what I mean?
That's a really good question.
Similar how like you go to Nike, you know what you want, or you go to somebody and you know what you want to see. How do you create that?
I guess I'm still figuring out like my own. Honestly, I think that so far, like out of all the business endeavors I've done, something that I didn't really focus enough attention to this far has been exactly that. The personality of each of my individual business endeavors.
Right.
And I've noticed that they've kind of blended together, and it's confused my fan base. But it's okay, because I'm going to fix that. That's my goal for 2023.
Ah, okay.
But I guess the best way to think about it is for your brand, for your personality, personally, to reflect outward.
Right.
And that's what you want to define your brand.
Right.
I listened to a podcast. Actually, Zach, shout out Zach. How does shout out Zach?
Shout out Korey.
Yes, sir.
Zach Korey. Yes, sir.
Let's
yes,
go.
Sir.
But he sent me a podcast. It's from the Landing Pad from Grit.
Okay.
And they interviewed, rather than interviewing reps, which is what they usually do, they interviewed their I think it's their creative director.
Okay.
Salt Lake Jake. I've DM'd him before. Shout out him as well.
Yes, sir.
Fire
yes,
guy.
Sir.
But I guess like they worked with a company, forget what it's called, and they were like shocked at how because they hired a company to do that, and they wanted them to, I guess in the early stages too, like outline exactly what the best possible way to portray their brand was visually, and their intent on how they showcase their content. And rather than them getting to work and starting to show them things, they just like, I guess at like a couple of weeks or maybe even like close to a couple of months, just was asking them questions. Like if you like say I was doing it for you, I'd be like, hey, so the Go-Getters is your thing, right? What celebrity would you say best is closest to the Go-Getters?
It's a good question. Let's answer that question.
What represents it visually?
You pick one, I'll pick one.
Fuck, man. I don't know if it's like I don't want to say it's like an egoistic answer, but I feel like not many people are doing what we're trying to do or have the same vision as us. So I guess like that one would be very hard for me, because like most people, especially in this space, like they're all looking to find a niche. We highlighted recently that we kind of went against that grain. Like we don't really have, I would say, necessarily like a set core of I guess like if you really broke it down, we had a few niches. Like we have like the MMA, we have the fitness, we have like just the podcasting, talking to people, travel, like those kinds of things.
Maybe we'll get into gaming and shit too.
All of that shit. But it's like to really define like our niche and what we do, I would truthfully, I'm kind of like out of the loop in terms of like the people that are out there doing like these kinds of things or like what we're trying to do. But if there's like a lot of people I take inspiration from, it's like a lot of the YouTubers I watch. Rogan's a big influence. Like the Full Send guys, they're a big influence.
They're tough. Like, they figured some shit out.
These guys, Seek Discomfort, them like too. They're a big influence. Like
shout out to Mod.
Yeah, fact. Come on, man.
Start talking, man.
So yeah, like I mean,
who's that? Who's Seek Discomfort?
Seek Discomfort is. Have you ever heard of a YouTube channel called Yes Theory?
Yeah.
They have like 7-something million subscribers on YouTube. Basically, like their whole idea is like exactly what their channel like. Yes Theory was actually a big motivation in me starting this podcast from day one, because their idea for their brand is like exactly what you hear the title. It's the yes theory. It's the theory of saying yes. So it's like when people ask you like off the wall shit that like like, man, that shit sounds scary. Like, it's something that they'll do, for example, to cut like the bogus talk is like they'll go up to strangers in public and they'll be like, just somebody random, hey, come with us to fucking Japan for the week. We'll pay for your flight. Like, just come with us. Why not? And like on face value, you'd be like, I don't fucking know these guys. Like, what the fuck are they trying to lure me out in Japan and kill me? Like, what's going on here? Like, most people would say no, but the idea is, like, if you do say yes, they're gonna fly you out. They're gonna highlight you on their YouTube channel. Like, they're creating content, obviously, and then they're just basically gonna give you like the time of your life for a week in Japan. They're gonna put you in a fucking like a nice hotel. You're gonna be out hiking, exploring, like everything that there is to figure out about Japan. Like, that's in like a little minute or whatever. That's like kind of what they do. So
but also, who knows what type of experiences and what type of life that you'll have if you just say yes to things that you generally say no to. I think that's the idea behind that. Sum it up. And
that's like where seek discomfort comes from, is like they avoid the comfort in life. Like, they avoid like that, like, I just want to go home and hang out for the night. Like, they go against that grain. They seek discomfort. That's the brand. Like, we want to explore that realm in which we're terrified of. We want to explore that realm in which like we fear from or we hide from. We'd rather be comfortable. A lot of people like in this era, like, I think we have a surplus of comfort. There's comfort everywhere around you, and it's so easy to just get sucked into the comfortable life of going home, seeing your girlfriend, whatever, eating your dinner, taking a nice shower, playing a couple video games, going to sleep, rinse, repeat, and getting paid on Friday. Like, that's a very comfortable lifestyle, and a lot of people live that every day. So it's like stepping out of your comfort zone, taking these trips, saying yes to a fucking this thing that you don't know how the fuck it's going to turn out or what's going to happen to you or if I'm going to be safe when I do this, or just fuck it. Just say yes and just go for the flow. See what the fuck happens. Yeah. So that's like kind of where we are.
That's inspiring. I need to tap into that.
Those guys are cool as fuck. Like, they are some of the like, and they're all from all walks of life, all around the world. Like, they're 3 core members. Like, one's from Egypt. One, I believe, was from France. And one was from like, I don't know the last one. But they're guys from all over the world that decided we're all just going to leave our countries. We're going to move to LA and we're just going to try to make this YouTube shit happen. Right. So like, that's the shit that kind of connected with me at a young age, because I've always been somebody who was obsessed with YouTube. That's pretty much what got me into this to begin with, is I loved the idea of being able to give that feeling in which I got from YouTube when I was a kid watching YouTube. Like, how happy that shit made me feel. Like, oh my God, it's possible to make videos and make money while just making other people happy and entertained and like doing that. That's where it all started for me, was YouTube early on, just like watching those videos. And those were some of the guys that I was watching ever since the jump, like very early on in my young adulthood.
How long ago?
I started watching them, I would say like maybe 6 or so years ago, 5-6 years ago. But like other people, like I'm a big, I loved Call of Duty when I was younger. So I watched like all the Call of Duty guys, like the FaZe guys were like really what, like those guys are the initial people that proved to me like I can fucking make money online just creating entertaining content for people. Mm-hmm. They were like the first people that showed me that was possible. A bunch of 15, 16-year-old kids just playing video games, doing the same shit that I love doing. We're getting paid thousands of dollars. They didn't have to work to do that. They were just waking up, pressing record, creating content for people, great content that people were enjoying. So people like them, ever since the early ages of like my life, is really what I would say propelled like this whole thing to happen. This probably wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for people like FaZe and like those guys, like the Seek Discomfort guys. Like those are some of the people that really kickstarted this shit for me.
Yeah, I could honestly tell because Seek Discomfort go-getters. That makes sense.
Right.
So that's like kind of where we are, and we follow in their footsteps a lot. Like they're always traveling. They're always trying to highlight a new part of the world that motherfuckers don't know about. Like they make videos where they go to like the least visited town in all of the United States. They'll just go spend the day there and talk to the locals and like kind of really do mini documentaries on these different places with these different random people that they found, and they just do that all over the world. And that sounds so cool to me. Mm-hmm. Like those are people I would love to talk to, because that's just so unique and different than like the typical realm most people take in terms of blowing up on YouTube, which is like following the algorithm and like producing content at a specific hour so that people are on YouTube at that time and they click your video. Like the very scientific way of going about doing it. They just riff. They do what they want to do, and that's very honorable to me in this space. Absolutely
inspiring. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, those guys are fucking savages for sure.
When I think of a celebrity that I could connect with the go-getters, I think of David Goggins.
Oh yeah,
because he's a savage.
Yeah.
Right.
Like go-getters. I think what Kevin and I really need to do is go and get what the fuck we need to go and get, and attack what needs to be done. Like if we're in this phase 1, the money thing, let's figure out the money thing so we can buy our equipment and innovate our podcast. Or if we want to travel, let's get the tickets. Like we're going to Dallas, Texas next month.
Yeah,
that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah,
so
to
like
do podcasts and to just like literally just that, like get out and travel, go do podcasts around the world. Like that's what we've been building towards. So we're just saying, fuck it, we're gonna do it.
Are there podcasts like conventions? Is that a thing?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Never heard such a
like
thing.
where would you just go to meet people that do podcasts and stuff?
There's conventions for everything. Sneaker conventions, Pokemon conventions.
I would imagine there has to be something like that.
Anime.
But that's like,
Right.
not even just Dallas, but Texas as a whole right now is like, it seems like it's the capital of the world in terms of like people that want to create, that people that like want to create content, or they want to create podcasts, or they want to create literally anything. Like it seems like that's the new hub for it. When I was younger, it was always LA. Like you had to go to LA if you were going to be big. You had to move down there. And so my whole life up until like my senior year when COVID happened was like, I was going to move to LA. Like I kind of had that in my soul. Like at some point I was going to just fucking take the great leap and I was going to move to LA, or I was just going to move West Coast somewhere.
That's crazy. I had the same mindset.
Yeah.
I feel like most people that like do what we do have that idea at some point. Like, I can't do this here. Like I got to go elsewhere and do it, which I'm starting to think like more or less nowadays is not necessarily true. I think like what you should strive to do if you're from a different area that's not a place like LA, like some people are just born there by luck of the draw or whatever. But if you're from somewhere like Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, like I think the idea or what you should focus on is conquering your area.
100%.
Like
Yes,
being the leader or the front runner or the person that's doing things in your area, like the shit that other people are too scared to do. Like conquer that spot first, because that's like the like in a game or something. That's like the beginner level. That's like that's teaching you the ropes of the game. So now like I understand this business better. I understand how to operate better. I'm a better talker now than I was when we started. Like if I was in LA in episode 1, this shit probably would have never happened. Here you actually get to learn your ropes. You get to figure things out, trial and error. So I think it's way better to start locally. Like start where you're from and then find a new place that you want to move to in the future. It doesn't need to be LA. Like I think that nowadays is a bad idea, that you just have to be in LA to be successful.
California is rough.
Yeah, right now. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
It's crazy because I had the same exact, almost an identical experience, just with like different interests. Like when like how you were saying, you watching them inspired you to realize that you could, do that and make money. Yeah. I had a similar experience like way back. Like I was literally in like 7th grade type shit. And before that, I kind of like didn't even know what I liked. Just like went outside with my friends, came back, played video games. That was it. And I remember specifically like always like my teachers, not that I was like a terrible student, but I always was told like, apply yourself. You need to apply yourself. How about you apply yourself? And I was just, I didn't know like what that meant. Like, what do you mean? Like I'm just going to school. I'm doing my work. I'm doing bad. I'm coming home. I'm just hanging out with my friends. And then I started playing Minecraft. Bro, Minecraft. That's where it starts, man. Shout out Minecraft.
It's actually funny you said that because I left that out. Like my earliest stages of YouTube, and I want you to get back to what you were saying. I didn't mean to cut you off, but like that's what started it. Like like watching like I remember the first YouTube video I ever watched on YouTube was a Minecraft video.
That's
the first video I ever watched on YouTube. But go ahead, my bad.
No, you're right. So I started like playing, and before I didn't really have work ethic. That's something that I've struggled with my whole life. Is like work ethic, especially then. But I started making, not like, I've always wanted to do something different than what everyone's doing, and everyone's just playing Minecraft, and they're we're hopping on Minecraft, we're blowing up a big cow. I'm like, oh yeah, real sick. And then I'm like, what could I do differently? I want to make mini games so that people like Redstone, crazy
bro, that's so funny you're saying this shit. Bro, that's so funny.
And people would come to my worlds, and you remember the Hunger Games?
Yeah.
You know Magic Kingdom?
I don't know that.
Like Disney Magic Kingdom.
Oh yeah.
I did a 1-to-1 replica with working fucking rides.
What the fuck?
And I turned that,
like the amusement park?
Yeah, crazy.
Whoa.
It was ridiculous. And I turned that into a Hunger Games match.
Yeah. Bro, that's so funny.
How long did it take you to do that?
Like a whole summer.
Wow.
Bro, because it's funny, though, because, like, you'll never know these things without talking about them, like, on a fucking podcast like this. But, bro, that was my fucking childhood. Like, you really just took me back down memory lane. Like, I remember, and I was the same way. Like, it's exactly how you said that. It was so funny how that's how it happened in my life, too, is, like, Minecraft, funnily enough. Like, everybody's just building these houses and building, like, this and, like, building mines and building this. I was the same way. I was like, nah, like, I gotta make, like, the cool, like, the redstone builds, like, the shit that other motherfuckers can't do. Like, I think that's so weird. Maybe that's just, like, a universal thing between, like, people that like to create shit, because 100%. You gotta, like, go against the grain and be different in some way, or you're never gonna be successful in your field.
No, you're right, 100%. And dude, it was crazy because I would start having, like, I generated, like, a group of people at my school.
Yeah.
That would be like, yo, like, what are you doing next? What are you doing next? So I started, like, from, like, number one, I kind of, like, released them, like, periodically.
Yeah.
Hunger Games matches, like, maps. The first one was, like, number one, like, Hunger Games 1, and I put this, like, that's when I started, like, logo design, and I just did it in Minecraft, and I would do it right up, the cornucopia.
No.
Yeah, in Hunger Games, right?
Yeah. When you
like when you saw the chest and shit in the middle? Right, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's where I started. Like, I always was like, I'm going to do a unique logo with, like, Hunger Games and then the number in Roman numerals in blocks above it. So I did 1, 2, 3. I got to, like, 19. The 13th one, too, I wanted, like, because unlucky number 13.
Yeah.
I did this, like, big, like, haunted house one.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Dude, it was so fire. And I had, like, things where it was kind of like zombies.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, you choose a class, you get specific stuff for that class. Then my redstone contraptions were, like, generating, like, rounds of zombies, and then you got stuff and you use that stuff to buy more stuff.
Dude, that's so cool.
How crazy is that Minecraft was the vessel?
Yeah,
bro,
for
like,
all of this
that's so funny because that's like this, like, he literally just unlocked, like, a whole chapter of, like, memories that were kind of forgotten. Like, that was the same shit I was doing. Like, me and my friend, like, my friend Brian downstairs that I was talking about earlier, he was there for some of those days. Cause, like, I've known him for that long that, like, we were back there building these small little, like, Hunger Games maps or, like, these parkour maps and, like, doing the same shit. Like, just doing, I don't know, just finding ways to make it different, to, like, have more fun doing the thing that we are already doing. That's just, I don't know. That's so cool. That unlocked a weird memory in my brain.
Yeah, that's fire.
That's crazy that's how that happens. I don't know. I that happens to me a lot on podcasts where, like, I'll hear some shit and it'll, like, really bring me back to, like, a point that I was at in life when, like, those universal feelings or whatever were, like, what was going on in my life. I don't know. That's always so cool.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I specifically remember, like, I would just be so into whatever video game I was in with my friends that, like, I remember, like, I made this, like, setup, and it was, like, it was, like, literally, like, a shelving unit. And I got this, like, broken chair, and I pulled it up to it, and I didn't play on PC or nothing. I used my Xbox. That's how I did. Yeah. So, and, like, there was no room for my legs and shit, so I would be sitting like this. And I remember, like, I came home from school, started playing. I came home from school, like, 3:15.
Yeah.
It would be I'd be literally sitting there sweating. Completely forgot to turn on my AC.
Yeah.
My parents would come up and be like, "Hey, we're going to Dairy Queen." Wouldn't go. Wouldn't even hear them. And, like, they would come back at, like, 10 o'clock. Maybe not 10. Maybe, like, 9:30.
Yeah. From
Dairy Queen. And I'd be sitting there just sweating.
Yep.
Playing shit with my friends.
Those were the days, man. And that was like, I feel like for both of us, probably that's, like, kind of what kickstarted this now. Because I know for me that, like, gaming, and that's why we try to, like, heavily because I still enjoy playing video games. And I still, like, we love chess. Like, that was, like, really a big building block for, I think, me as, I would say, like, a content creator now, because at the time I obviously didn't know that that's what I wanted to do. Like, I knew that I thought it sounded really cool and it seemed really cool to, like, be that kind of guy. But until, like, literally my senior year in high school, like, all my mentality was football. I just wanted to play football. That's all it was. It was almost like I was programmed into that belief. It's not even like I loved football, don't get me wrong, but it was like, it was so, like, beaten into my head that was going to be what I did that I didn't explore any other realm. So I'm kind of happy like the high school experience went the way that it did, because right when, like, my senior year got cut in half and I kind of had nothing going on, that was, like, the start of everything for me, because that's, like, when my back was kind of against the wall, and I really had to figure out, like, who the fuck am I going to be in this world rather than just be, like, a fuck like I was used to being. Because in high school, I was a fuck, and I'm very happy to openly admit that. So I had to, like, really figure out, like, what the fuck was I going to do. That's what made me start investing. That's what made me actually start watching podcasts, which got me into creating podcasts. So, like, it's just crazy how all those things happen the way that they do. It's almost like it was fate. Like, that shit was supposed to happen that way.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, aside from all the, like, amazing memories and like, lessons that I've learned, the biggest 2 lessons that I learned from that was that if I set aside time, I can make people happy.
Yeah.
That's how I learned work ethic, was, like, building shit in Minecraft.
Yeah.
The second thing was that I have to, like, the lesson that I learned and I still live by is that I have to just go my own route every time. Yeah. Double-edged sword. Because there's real easy, like, even nowadays, real easy route. Like, do that. That's, great idea. Do this. You know, become successful. Can't do it. Yeah. Gotta go my own route because that's how I live. And, you know, it works out most of the time. Sometimes it does not. Yeah. You know, that's how it is. But that's how that's just how I learned how to do it. And even today, even how I started my brand, like, it was the same. It's, like, almost, like, parallel. Like, it's the same. Like, I think it was like 11th grade. And I was sitting in, like, psychology class, a couple of my friends, and they were like, this was, like, right when everyone wanted to be a SoundCloud rapper. Yeah. And they're like, yo, let's all be SoundCloud rappers. We could, like, I could write a rap right now. No cap, I'm crazy. And I'd be like, all right, bro, all right. And, of course, like, same thing. Everyone was trying to make these raps and show me this and show me that. And I was like, can't do that. How about I be the producer for it? How about I be the artist for it? And they're like, wait, you could do that? I'm like, yeah, what do you mean, bro? Like, that's what I do. Yeah. No idea how to do it.
Capping.
Straight up. Bro, it's funny you said that because my nickname became Korey the Capper.
Korey the Capper.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
It was so funny. But I'm saying it worked out because I would lie. I would straight up lie. I'd be like, yeah, dude, I could do it. Are you crazy? Like, it's what I do. I'm the best. Yeah. And they'd be like, what do you mean? I've never seen you produce a song. And I'm like, I just never showed you. And then they would, like, bring to me their song. I'd produce it. I don't know if it was good. I don't know if it was bad. Neither did they because it was the first time they ever did it. But I learned. And then from that point forward, I did a thing. This was, like, the end of junior year into senior year. I took 100 straight days. Each day, I would make a beat, and then the next day, I would make art, like a cover art, a design, something. And I did that for 100 straight days.
That's gnarly.
You ever hear of, like, the 10,000-hour rule?
Yeah, of course.
That was how I started it.
Really?
Yeah, and I remember, like, watching these videos and being like, what stuff do you buy for this? What stuff do you buy for that? How do you design this? How to pirate that? How to pirate this? And I was like, all right, so today's day 1. At the end of day 100, my 50th beat and my 50th design are going to be night and day from day 1. And they 100% work. Yeah. And then from that day forward, like, every time I got a chance to take a class, my friends would all be like, oh, yo, take home ec. We'll be able to eat all class. Like, no, I have to take a 4th graphic design class. Yeah. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, have to do it, bro. Have to do it. So I did that. During lunch, I'd go to the graphic design room. Yeah. During biology, go to the graphic design room. Like, it became, I would only be designing. Yeah. And even my teachers would be like, all right, you're a little bit good at this. Like, I expect your projects to be, like, kind of crazy. And so, like, I would even do, like, extra projects on the side. Yeah. But that's just how it started, and that's why I guess where I am today, and I just know how to do stuff.
Yeah, I wish I got into that mindset earlier. Like, I wish it didn't take me having to, like, get out of high school to, like, adopt these kind of ideas that I have in my head. Because, like, something like you were just saying, night and day. Like, I'm night and day different than who I was even my senior year, which was only, like, fucking 2.5, however many years ago. So, like, I wish I started earlier. So, like, would you say you were more of, like a quiet, like, out the way kind of cat then in school, like, when you were doing all this shit?
Yes and no. Okay. I remember teachers saying, like, I remember, like, the one class, I think I was in, like, 6th or 7th grade, maybe, like, 8th or 9th, but my one teacher, like, someone asked, and they were like, oh, Mr. So-and-so, what do you think would happen if, like, if a tornado did come, and what would we all do, blah, 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 because it was right after we would do, like, the little tornado thing. Yeah. And my teacher, I remember specifically, would be like, well, Korey would just listen to what I would say, and so would do this, and I was thinking about that, and I always think about that, like, I must have just been quiet, because I remember senior year, like, all of my teachers being like, dude, please stop, like, chill, stop asking so many questions all the time, and I'd be like, okay, sorry, yeah, you're right, like, I'm just trying to, like, ask more, I'm trying to learn more, I guess, but I guess, like, I used to be real quiet, and I think I just kind of, like, learned, like, I need to strive to learn, I can't just sit back and learn, you know?
See, I didn't have those beliefs at all when I was in school. Like my idea when I was in school is this was just something I needed to get through. Like, I just needed to get through this. It was almost like a jail sentence. Like, that's really how I looked at it when I was in high school. Is like, I got to come here 5 days a week for fucking 8 hours a day. I just got to get through this sentence. I was literally living for the weekend. Like, I was literally living for the weekend every week when I was going to school. I hated school. I don't know what it was within me. I think it's even similar to now what drives me so hard to, like, not want to work. Because that's, like, one of my biggest things. I don't like the idea of a 9-to-5 job. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think learning a trade or getting a blue-collar job or any of that shit is necessary by any means.
I agree.
So I think that's, like, I won't say I'll knock my beliefs or ideas or how I treated high school at the time, because I think that is what kind of got molded into my belief now about how I treat, like, a 9-to-5 job or work or those kinds of things. But at the time, like, it felt completely opposite. Like, I kind of felt like, in a way, I kind of felt like a loser, because I was hanging around a lot of people that had a lot better grades than me, and they were just doing a lot better things than I was doing, and I just felt like a fuck at that time. Like, I really didn't take it seriously at all. The only thing I cared about when I was in school was football. That was it.
Right.
So
I remember having the same kind of feeling. I remember, like, and this is how I felt. That's how I felt towards like sports and extracurricular stuff. Because I used to play football, but I stopped. I had a bit of, like, an issue with, I don't know how to put it, like, self-worth, I guess.
yeah,
And I used to play football, and then I realized all my friends started hitting the gym, and I was like, oh, fuck, I don't want to do all that. So then, you know, my friends would be playing baseball. I stopped playing baseball. I just felt like everyone was just so good at something.
yeah,
Everyone was just so, like, dedicated to something, and I just couldn't even, like, get up on time without my mom having to get me up.
yeah,
Or this or that. And so I remember sitting at a Hanover football game,
yeah,
and looking around, and I had a girlfriend at the time, and she was in, like, the band, and I was looking over, and I was like, well, I can't sit with her. I'm looking over at my friends, like, oh, they're all on the football field.
yeah,
I'm like, just sitting just by myself, like, damn, like, everybody has a thing, and I don't, you know?
yeah.
But I started playing volleyball.
Ah, there
right
you
after
go.
that. I was like, you know, fuck it, I'm just gonna do something random. This was like, I did track, but I quit that too. I don't know.
Damn, you tried it all.
Yeah. And then I did volleyball, and I loved volleyball. And I was pretty good at volleyball, but Hanover's volleyball program, joke.
Yeah.
At the time. I don't know about now. I'm not going to knock the current team.
Knock them. Fucking knock them.
Yeah,
knock them. Fuck you guys.
Nah, I don't know. But I remember at the time, like, I wanted to take it seriously because I didn't want to be, not only, like, I came from a place of, like, being the only dude that didn't have a sport. All my friends played volleyball, and that was their second sport.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, we're just going to pick up volleyball. It'll be fun. And I was like, no, like, we're going to be good at this.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, chill, bro. I got baseball practice too. And I'm like, all right. You know, but we didn't do good or nothing. I did all right. I felt like I'm just, you know, I guess I'm a pretty athletic person.
Yeah.
So I'm tall and shit. So
like, when were you realizing, like, I mean, obviously, like you're saying, like, sports wasn't the route for you. Like, you got, like, your friends and people, they're all over doing these things that you thought at the time were cool. Like, why the fuck am I not doing anything? When did you, like, realize, like, what you wanted to do? Like, when did you find, I guess you could say, like, what was the spark for your passion? Like, when did you discover, like, all right, well, fuck, like, this is going to be my thing? Like,
well, all right. So I guess the story kind of goes chronologically. So it went from how, you know, playing Minecraft, learning, you know, blah, blah, blah. Graduated high school. Yeah. And I had my brand, and I started my brand in 2018 with my best friend. And I remember specifically, like, we came up with a design. I do not remember why we made a shirt. Yeah. I don't know if it was because I remember the idea, because my brand's called SIKADELIXX. Yeah. The idea before that was I wanted to call it SIKADELIFANT. Don't know why.
SIKADELIFANT.
Yeah. What the fuck does that even look like?
It was just gonna be like an elephant, and then for some reason, like
an elephant. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. This was what happened in that psychology class. Yeah. And I remember I was sitting with my best friend, and I was like, "Does that exist?" Looked it up. It was like, oh, dude, there's a couple guys in like Arizona. They got like a 2-man band. It's called SIKADELIXX.
Of course, it's a fucking band. Yeah. Fuck.
And I was like, yeah, or it might have been like New Mexico or something.
That makes sense.
Of course.
But then I was like, how about just SIKADELIXX?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, yeah, but like if we put that on a shirt or if we have that be the company name, like no one's going to be able to read it. That's a long word.
Yeah.
People are kind of stupid. I was like, yeah, you're right. I was like, well, how about we change it, the spelling? Like, how are we going to change it? So I just wrote it out. S, 2 X's, K. I was like, that looks sick.
Yeah.
Like, all right, yeah, that looks sick. And I remember I didn't have Photoshop. Didn't have nothing like
Yeah.
that. So I remember I typed it out on this app called PixArt.
Okay.
Wait, PixArt? Something like that. I typed out SIKADELIXX and in a certain font, and the 2 last X's made like these like cartoon bubbly X's.
Okay.
And then I was like, all right, let's do an underline. So I did like a squiggly underline, and it was like a polygon tool that I did it with.
Okay.
So it made it kind of like a little bit jagged and squiggly, so it looked cool. But then I noticed that there was like a kind of like a line under the 2 X's. It made like a smiley face. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna put a circle here. Bam. And then it made a face. And you guys probably have never seen that logo.
Probably not.
I just recently retired it. But because it didn't really reflect at all what I was doing.
Yeah.
On top of that, it's something a lot of people think of first. Like, how about a smiley face with 2 X's? Like Blink-182.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't, my logo came from like an actual like random assortment. But I didn't want to be like that. So I changed it to this logo.
Oh yeah, so you got it tatted on your wrist. That's cool, bro. I've been thinking of, that's off topic kind of, but I've been thinking about that a lot recently. I talked to Darren about this the one time, but my good friend JJ, he did actually something similar to what you did, and this is at the time when he did this is when I got this idea, and when he actually did this is he got his brand tatted on him at the time to like kind of like signal like, this is on me for the rest of my life. I'm either going to succeed and look at this every day like I took the bet on myself and it worked out, or if it fails, I'm going to look at this every day and I'm going to be like, fuck, like I failed at that.
That's
like,
exactly why it's on my wrist today.
So the reason I brought that up is because I told him about that this was a little while ago, but like I actually kind of really do want to get GG or something along the lines of go-getters tatted on me somewhere because I have no tattoos anywhere. And my biggest problem with getting a tattoo has always been I don't know what I want my first tattoo to be. And I wanted the first tattoo to be very meaningful. And then after that, it's kind of like, I don't give a fuck. I feel like I would just get a tattoo for anything. Why not? But that's something that I'm actually pretty interested in doing is getting something go-getters related tattooed on me so that like I have to look at that shit every day no matter the outcome. Like no matter if I'm on Forbes in a fucking couple years or if I am piss poor broke in a couple years, like I have to look at that shit every day.
Yeah, no, you should, bro. You should, 100%. And I always wanted tattoos. I didn't want to be someone who didn't have tattoos because I'm an artist and everything.
Yeah.
And I could never, like, because, you know, like I was saying, like, my design ideas and styles just transition so quickly. I don't want to put something on me that I liked 3 years ago and not now.
Yeah.
But then I realized something else. I was like, all right, art can be timeless.
Yeah.
It just has to belong on you.
Yeah.
You have to make it belong on you. And so I felt like I remember I was with my cousin. We were going like for a hike or something. And I was like, you want to go to the tattoo store just to get like a quote? He was like, yeah, I want to get like a lion on my arm. I was like, all right. I pull up. I'm like, hey, how much would it be to put this on my wrist? He goes, $100. I was like, all right, would I have to come back? He goes, I do right now. I was like, all right, let's do it. So I did it. It took like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It hurt because
I was just gonna ask you that. It seems like a very rough spot to get a tattoo.
Not very rough. I guess right here in the middle, not bad. But then like that corner hits my wrist.
Yeah, you have a lot of veins and ligaments right in there. So I would imagine like getting, because my mom just got a tattoo. Where the fuck was it? It was like, I think it was just right here on her hand, which I would imagine is
I have
like
a bunch there too.
Really?
Yeah.
See, damn, you go for the pain zones. So like, I would imagine that spot would be just as rough as getting like your tattoo. For people just listening, we're talking about like the top of your hand and like your wrist area, like right below your palm. So like, I would imagine that or this part right here would be really fucking rough because there's just nothing but like veins and ligaments and like connecting tissue and shit in there. So I figured it would hurt like a lot.
It wasn't bad. I will remember though, I sweat more. I'd sweat like crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know why. He was like, bro, I've never had somebody sweat this much. Like I sweat. He had to put the what's it called? The stencil.
Fucking the
purple stencil. He had to put it back on me like 3 times.
Really?
I sweated it out.
Okay.
Yeah. But it came out perfect.
Yeah,
There's a little knob right there that isn't sharp and it should be, but that's it.
Yeah. No, my dad got a tattoo of like my name on. It's funny that it was my name that it happened on too, but it was like my name on his left forearm. Mm-hmm. And he said like when he got to the V, which is like the middle letter of my name, it's probably like in the middle of his arm. I guess the guy hit a nerve. Ooh. And like his like whole arm went like dead for like a second. Yeah. That's crazy. And then he said like it like came back and it was like numb. I forget like if that's exactly how the story went, but it was like it came back, it was numb for a little while. He had like pins and needles and like it finally came back to full feeling. But when he was doing it, it hit a nerve. I know that's kind of off topic too, but yeah, I thought that shit was pretty funny.
Yeah. I have a bunch of tattoo ideas and all of them mean something in my like story, I guess.
Yeah.
But going back to what I was saying, after I graduated and after I came up with like that brand name, I remember specifically it was my mom's birthday, and she was the one heat pressing my shirts while me and my dad were at the Pocono race.
That's funny.
Yeah, but they came out great. I sold probably like 15 of them to like random people, and some people still have them today.
That's tough.
I could show you guys them. I don't know if I have like a pic. I'll find them, but I could show you.
Do you have any of your own initial pieces? Like, do you have one?
I do somewhere.
That's tough. I hold on to shit like that. I don't know why, but go ahead, continue. My bad.
I always try to, but I lose everything. But
yeah.
But then, so moving forward, I ended up, and this I see, like I was saying earlier, it's like I learned that I have to take my own route always.
Yeah.
In this portion of my life, I stopped doing that.
Okay.
I went to school. I went to college. I went to King's. Shouldn't have done that at all, because it's just like I should have thought about this more maturely. Like going to school did not work. I did not get great grades, nor did I succeed in what I should have.
Yeah.
I was going to school to get, the King's program for graphic design is called Mass Communications. And it's, it's combined with a bunch of things, radio, video game design, and everything. And, like, I didn't get along with the staff. I had a great time, but I didn't get along with the staff. I didn't get along with my professors. I tried to be, like, nice. There was a lot of times people thought that I was getting singled out, but I don't know. Like, it's something that the same stuff happened in high school. And I was like, man, I don't belong here. So it came to a point, and I met a couple of guys there. Shout out Connor and John. Connor, you met.
Yeah, we met. Shout out Connor.
Yeah. Shout out Connor. And John, you guys didn't meet him yet. You will soon.
Let's go.
Yeah. But we just started working on our brands, and it just made sense. And from that point forward, it got to a point where and Zach was there. This was like one of the first, he was meeting us for Sunny's Island stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He showed up to the house. This was like 2 years after my freshman year. It was like sophomore year, but I was still, it was junior year, but I was still sophomore because I did not do good. Zach showed up. He's in my kitchen. And I'm sitting there like this. And I'm like, you know what, guys? I'm dropping out. And Zach is just like, what do you mean you're dropping out? He's like, bro, aren't you a junior? I'm like, I don't even know, bro.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even know, but I have to do it, bro, because it's either like my brand is making school suffer, and school is making my brand suffer.
Yeah,
I'm going to hopefully graduate and not be $1 million in debt for all the classes I had to retake. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm choosing the brand. I'm choosing it today.
You ever have experiences where you feel guilty when older people ask you, like, oh, are you still in college, or when did you graduate, or
where do you go to school? Like, that shit.
I feel prideful to respond with nowhere.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, see, I still battle with it, and I know, like, go ahead. You can explain it.
Me too. I remember one time we were working for the Keystone Games.
Yeah, that shit will forever.
A bunch of these old geezers kept asking us, like, where are you guys going to school? What are you guys doing? What are you guys studying? And we're like, yo, we dropped out.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, the world needs a ditch diggers.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
I had a police officer one time.
No.
Yeah, bro. I had a police officer tell me one time, I told him I was unsure if I wanted to go back to school. I dropped out, and I was trying to figure, like, my life out and stuff. And he said, man, you're a fucking loser. He's like, you're wasting your potential. You're wasting all your talent.
Yeah. But, like, what does that mean?
I didn't want to go to college.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? It's
not binary. It's not like this fucking crazy world we live in. Anything is 100% foolproof. Like, it'll work 100% of the time. That's a false reality that I think we like to think that is okay to live by. Like, just the idea of going, I don't think inherently going to college is a negative thing. I don't believe that. I think where it becomes a negative thing is like when you're coerced into doing this thing that you don't really want to do. And at a young age of 17, 18, I'm going to fucking go thousands of dollars in debt. I'm going to have to pay this shit back my whole life. That's where it's negative. If you, like, in your heart know, like, I want to go to college and I want to go for this reason. Like, I want to make my family proud. I want to get my fucking degree. I want to, if that's like a pride thing for you and you just want to do it, and it's like, it's connected to your legacy or what you want to do in your life, by any means, go to college.
Yeah, that's respectful then.
But like, if you're just going, like for me, what it was is I fucking went to LCC for a semester and a half just so I didn't look like a loser, just so I can tell my mom, I'm going to college. I'm doing that. Like, I'm not just doing nothing. Like, I'm not just going to sit here and do nothing and play video games all day and be a fuck. I'm going to go to college.
Yeah.
And same thing. I dropped out because it wasn't connected to my legacy. I didn't give a fuck about college. I wasn't applying even 10% of my manpower and capability into doing that. I didn't give a fuck. And it didn't help me. Like, what I was learning in school wasn't helping me with tech or computers or how to talk to people or like the shit that I actually struggled with. It was just teaching me just the next step of math class or the next step of English class, the same shit that you've been learning for the last 12 years, but just the next step. That's all I was learning. So for me, I thought it was bullshit and I didn't need it.
Right. Yeah. 100%, bro. That's exactly what it is. There's a lot of people that I met in college, and more so this than people that like had a level head, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, you meet a person with a level head, and they're like, I'm going to college. I'm going to start my own company. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
I have this whole plan out, and it's like, all right. But there's, literally 99.9 times out of 10, I'm like, so what major are you? And they're like, nursing. And I'm like, nursing? You're helping me design merch right now, and you're really good at it.
Yeah.
What are you doing nursing for? Or what are you doing here? Should you be studying? And they're just like, yeah, I don't even know, man. I just looked up one day on Google, like the first result.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't even know? Like, what do you mean? They're like, it pays the most.
Yeah.
I think. You think. Like, what are you doing?
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
what are you doing?
What will motivate people? I remember talking to people when I was at King's, and they were like, yeah, I'm going to be an accountant. They didn't even like math.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why would you want to be an accountant? They're like, my parents told me to be an accountant, and that was just it.
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
It's crazy how people take this whole thing for granted.
Yeah, like you only get this fucking life one time. Why waste it being miserable your whole fucking life? And that's like what I was just gonna say too, is like the world needs nurses, the world needs doctors, the world needs lawyers. It absolutely does. But how many times have you met a doctor, nurse, lawyer, fucking anybody, like one of those skills you need to go to college for, that was actually passionate about what they did? And not just because it was a fucking really good job to have or a really good skill to know. Like being a lawyer, I'm sure it pays dividends. Yes, it does. It's a very good skill to have. You're a very good talker. You're a very good arguer. You can find your loopholes and things. But like, how many like nurses, because I'm sure we all know or went to high school with fucking 10 people that are now in school studying nursing or something. How many of them are actually passionate about doing it and are not just doing it because it's like a high level field to get involved in? And I'm just going to do this so my life has some kind of meaning, or I'm just going to do this so that I feel like I'm not just wasting my life doing nothing, and they're not actually passionate about doing it.
Right.
That scares me. Like that's a scary reality.
Scary. That is so scary. Like, literally imagine, like, I've had nightmares, bro, where I wake up, or like I'm sleeping, right, and I have a night where it's like, Dr. Korey, and I'm like, what do you mean, doctor, bro? Like, fuck, wake me up.
Yeah.
Like, hell no, bro. That's crazy. And if people want to do that, and that's what, like, I guess what it is I'm not anti-college, but I'm definitely anti, like, rat race, I guess is the way to put it. Like, if you're just living someone else's life, bro, like, what are you even doing?
Yeah,
like,
what are you doing?
You're probably wasting other people's time is what you're doing, and I can't do that.
Korey, what's the rat race to you?
The rat race.
How would you explain it?
Like, I live in someone else's life.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta go 9 to 5. You have to. Like, there's this girl I know. She's one of my best friends. She was going to college, and it didn't necessarily work out. She went back again. I was like, I could give you a job.
Yeah.
I could use your help. I could hire you. I could pay you.
Yeah.
Went back to college, dropped out again.
Yeah.
Third time this semester, did it again. I'm like, are you nuts?
Yeah.
Not a cheap thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 3 different majors. I'm like, man, like, I just wish, like, the thing about it is it's not, and if it's like perseverance, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But it's not. And it's 3 different, like, majors, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a goal that you have set in your mind. Like, I just wish that she had some people in her life to be like, yo, there are billions of ideas you could do that you can get paid from if you just do it. And they're most likely easier. Yeah. You know, I have found that I put in way less work to my personal like companies, and I get rewarded like greatly, you know. And people like are just trying to like get this job, and it's so much work, and it's like, are you even gonna get the job when you're
passing tests?
He and I, bro, talk about like
interviews.
It's crazy.
It's crazy the severe powers that people that go to college actually have that they don't recognize can be so.
They're not harnessing it the right way.
Yes,
right?
I always make this joke that college motherfuckers are the only motherfuckers I know that can go to bed at fucking 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. and wake up at 6 a.m. for a class, do nothing but drink a coffee, and they're fucking fired for the day. Like, they're ready to go. I wish I had that energy. Like, I wish I had the ability to do that. Those motherfuckers can run the world off of coffee. They could run the world off 2 hours of sleep and a coffee.
Be hungover, too. Like,
hungover, went to a party till fucking 3 a.m. the night prior, got a nice exam at 7 a.m., nothing but a coffee in your system and a fucking dab pen. And those motherfuckers have more energy and more, like, I don't know, drive or whatever the fuck it is to wake up on time and go to where they got to go than I do. So if you apply that to, like, what you actually want to do, imagine, like, what the fuck you're capable of doing. That's what I don't think people understand.
100%. And, I mean, what they're doing is they're getting primed to be someone else's passive income. And they're going to be real good at it.
It is scary, though, bro, because you're at that point when you're going into the transition from high school to college, there's a lot of questions that are hard to ask when you're 17, 18 years old. Like, you have to ask yourself life questions. Like, what do I want to do with my life? And it's scary to think you work a third of your life, right? So it's like, what am I going to do for the rest of my life?
You sleep a third of your life.
That's a hard question. That's a hard, right? So you got a sliver of your life to fucking figure it out and do some shit that you actually enjoy doing.
That's how I always used to describe it to people.
That's why we're here right now.
Yeah, literally chasing that shit. Like, you work a third of your life, you sleep a third of your life, and then the other third of your life, you're dreading doing the shit that you don't want to do. So literally, you're pretty much your whole life is just consumed with fucking angst and terror of, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what step to take. But, like, I'm really learning in life now, though, that, like, shit, like, life as we know it is literally just uncertain. There's no way
it's all uncertain, bro.
There's no way you can set every stone going forward until I'm fucking 90 years old. You think you might know the path, but you really don't. You got to just, like, you got to let things come to you and figure out how you handle them. Problems are going to come to you in life. You got to figure out what type of person you are, what type of character you are, and how you're going to respond to these problems. And I think a lot of people don't recognize that, because kind of why I'm talking about this is I think a lot of those people that do these things in college and just go to college is because it's the easier route. Like, I'd rather just take the easier route than the uncertain route of, like, not knowing if I'm going to succeed or not knowing what's going to come next or not knowing who's going to laugh at me because I'm trying this new creative thing that I want to do. They rather just take the easier way. But no matter what way you take, life is a fucking uncertain roller coaster where you'll never know the outcome anyway, so you might as well at least try. That's what I would think.
It takes balls to carve your own path.
100%.
It definitely does, and it takes grit.
It does.
For sure.
Shout out, Zach.
Shout out, Zach. I do good.
Didn't you experience the grit for a little bit?
I did, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I was just thinking.
You grab me one too? And you can grab him one too.
I still have a lift.
Okay.
But yeah, I did. I went with grit this summer, and I did not do good at all.
Huh?
However, I do not regret it one bit.
How was it? What was the experience like?
So, the real reason, personally, that I decided that I wanted to go take the grit route.
Zach will sell it like a motherfucker too.
Oh yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah. Was I wanted to feel like to just feel like out there, like, you know, I wanted to feel like you're on a roller coaster.
Yes, sir.
You know.
Yeah.
I find myself, you know how, like, you watch, like, horror movies nowadays, and it's like, oh, it's a good movie, it's a bad movie, but when you were a kid, you watched that horror movie, it was life or death right there.
Right.
That's how I wanted to feel.
Yeah.
And
you want to put yourself against the wall in the fire, right?
Hell yeah. And I didn't do good, and I know why. I analyzed this a lot.
Okay.
Still daily. On my way out there, I had two recruits.
Where did you go? What city did you go to?
Long Island.
New York. Oh, so it was bold out there.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I had two recruits with me. Two guys that they're two of my great friends. They have a brand as well. And I just wanted to, like, give them an opportunity to just come with me and learn with me and everything, you know?
Yeah.
All three of us, we really did not do good. But I think I think something was telling me it wasn't going to go good from the jump. However, it wasn't telling me not to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
On our way out there, we're driving, right? And we're hyped. We're like, yeah, let's do it. We'll get it. We couldn't even move in this car. This kid had a coupe, that shit where you like move the seat back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a 2-seater.
2-seater.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're driving and it's a stick shift and we're hype. And I remember specifically Pop Smoke comes on. And we're like,
hold up.
Yeah. He put it on the window. We're like, let's go, right? All of a sudden, boom, tire blows. The car just goes, right? And there's cars on the highway next to us.
Oh, no.
And like I didn't put it all together quick enough in my head. I thought maybe like he was trying to be funny. But then I was like, yo, wait a minute. This is not good. We're literally like going like in between cars on the highway. And we end up like in a ditch off the side. Like there's like a tree right here.
Yeah.
He's like, and we just kind of end up being like, and we're just like,
just dumbfounded.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, did you mean to do that? He's like, what do you mean did I mean to do that? Obviously I didn't mean it. I was like, no, you're right. That was a stupid question. And I was like, what do we do? And then like some guy pulled over. He's like, you guys all right? We're like, yeah, we're all right. I think cop came, got the guy to tow us. So like right from the jump, something
bad omen.
Yeah. And I remember we were all talking about it. We were like, all right, let's lay out our goals. How much?
Oh wait, was this on your trip down to Grit? I'm sorry, I don't think I was here for this.
To Rhode Island.
Long Island.
Wow.
Long Island. Sorry, Long Island.
But yeah, so I remember like right before that situation happened. I think it was still when we were like in Wilkes-Barre, like we were probably picking up like food or coffee. Right before we left, we're talking. We're like, yo, how much you want to like? What's your goal for the summer? And he's like, oh, I want to make blah blah blah, like amount of money.
Yeah.
Like, what's your goal for the summer? Blah blah blah. Right. And I remember my response specifically was, if I don't make a cent at all, I will be completely fine with that. I want to learn the language of selling. And I remember also saying that in the first meeting we had.
Yeah.
So what happened? I manifested that.
So it worked out.
It worked out. I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
I lost money because I spent money on food and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, like, I recommend everybody to do it. But it's like you have to know what to get out of it. If you are only thinking about money and not learning and not growing. Like right now, I have that same knowledge of skills taught by the same people that Zach works with on a daily basis. And Zach is great. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was taught by them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was made for that shit. Zach was like
100%.
made for like communicating to people and being like a great seller. Like Matt. Zach. Yeah, Zach's really good at that.
Yeah. Dude, there's so many things that Zach says, and I know he's going to be excited to hear this, that I think about every day. He said it last time on the podcast, too. Do what others won't do today so you could do what others can't do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Think about that every day.
Yeah.
Execution is everything. Zach says that to me all the time.
What do you say? What do you say? Eat shit now so you can eat caviar later.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, no, Zach's the quote guy. No, he's a wise fucking kid. Like, Zach's a really wise kid.
He's also a savage, too, bro. Yeah. Zach hit me up a couple days after that podcast. He's like, yo, let's go on a 10-mile run. I was like, yo, you ever go on a run before? He's like, nah, I never really ran, ever.
Yeah.
And me and that motherfucker went out there and ran 10 miles. Swear to God.
That same day.
And yo, Zach's just running like I'm the best fucking rep ever. 650K, come on. Zach, come on. And he's like talking to himself. I'm just like, yes, sir.
Yeah,
like he was really turning himself up. Mile 7, he's lagging. He's like talking to himself. Yeah. Like, shit's crazy.
Bro, he's an animal.
Yeah. Bro, he's a dog. Shout out Zach, bro. Really my guy.
That same night, man, after the pod, he invited us over his house. And like that, just even granted, like that, the start of that doesn't typically happen. Like most people that we have on the show, like it's never like, yeah, just, come to my house. Like my whole family's here. Like just come over. He didn't say all that, obviously. We were just going to get in the cold plunge. But like for that to happen, like he just hit him and his whole family, like operation. It's
savage too.
Yeah,
bro.
absolutely. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's just different. Dope. Like their whole system and everything I remember, like the drive home, I'll never forget this, was me and Darrian sitting there. Granted, I love my family to death. I wouldn't exchange my family for literally anybody or anything on the planet. But I know that we don't have the system that they have. Like we're like, you walk into their house, the kids are downstairs just fucking drumming as loud as they can. Like we're upstairs, like basically yelling to talk to each other, but like nobody was mad, nobody was upset. Like everybody was smiling and laughing. It's like what they have is so beautiful. And like I remember me and Darren, we were driving home, and I was like, bro, like we got to be the people that create that for our family. Like we got to be the people that buy this beautiful house with this beautiful pool and these beautiful decorations everywhere. And like, it's the hub for just fun. And it's where our families can come together and just have a good time. Like we got to create that for our family. So like
Yeah,
I'll never
100%,
forget that. I'll never forget
100%.
that.
I go to Zach's all the time, man.
Yeah.
And just hang out in like the basement.
Yep.
And his parents are upstairs doing whatever. And it's just a great time, man.
Yeah.
Like I remember getting there and there's like all these posters on the wall in the basement. And I'm like, yo, what's this? And he's like, my dad's working on like a Woodlands
The
residential
blueprint,
project.
right? The huge
Bro,
blueprint.
that was the craziest
Yeah.
shit
I
I've
was
ever
like,
seen.
bro, my girlfriend's an interior designer. And
Yeah.
she shows me her projects all the time. And I was like,
Wow.
yo, that's what she does. You know, that's fire.
Yeah.
But
Bro,
yeah.
it was nuts. I don't even know if we should even be talking about that. But when he showed me, when he showed us like the thing that he was doing, because mind you, upstairs, like we were talking to him, we literally asked him, we were like, so what's it like being out of the game now? Like, do you ever see yourself like getting back into like that business mentality? He's like, no, like I'm loving my life. I enjoy my life right now. Why would I get back into it? And then like an hour later, we go downstairs and he's like, so yeah, guys, this is what I'm working on now. Like, I'm like, so if that's not business to you, then what the fuck are you talking about? Like his mind probably is just different. Like he is so used to these huge projects, probably just being something small to him because
That's his
he's
passion
been in the
project.
game. Yeah, like he's been in that game. He's a vet.
Right.
So like that didn't make sense to me. Like trying to piece those two things. He's like, no, like I'm out of it. I'm enjoying my life. But then shows me that like that project is huge. Like what he was trying to do there. So like I don't know.
That
He's
shit
an
is
interesting cat.
Not a leisure project
No.
by any means.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
That's what
I
takes some
have a
blood, sweat, and
story about
tears.
Zach that I wanted to save for this podcast.
Okay.
This was way before like he even sold at all. This is like probably a year before.
Yeah.
He came to me, I think. All right, so he posted on Snapchat, need a graphic designer, hit me up. And then my other friend sent me his thing, and I was like, all right, I'll hit him up. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
I was just like, yo, someone told me you need a designer. Let's do it. And then it just works out, do some shit. He was like, yo, I need a design for my thing, blah, blah, blah. And I remember, like, he came to link up with me and Connor at Connor's warehouse in Dallas at the time. And word for word, this is what Zach says. This is before.
I think you said some of this.
Yeah,
story,
he goes, I don't know why, guys, right? But I feel like an absolute marketing prophet. And I remember, like, looking at Connor, and I always hear wild shit from people trying to start brands, right?
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, bro, like, you know, it's gonna be crazy. And
Yeah.
he's like, no, like, I'm a prophet, bro. Like, I was like, all right, man. And I remember, dude, like, his drop did great. He did, like,
Yeah.
I think he did exactly 100 sales.
Yeah,
Maybe
I seen
more.
him say that the other day. I think on his Snapchat or something he was talking about like the Sunny brand that he used to have, and that
Right.
he sold exactly 100 orders, and he was just like thanking people.
Yo,
But
he did an advertisement on that shirt, didn't he?
Yes, sir. Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
cool.
Yeah. I hit him up, and I was just I put, you know,
Kobe,
His brother?
Oh, his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
I put his band too. Peaches
Oh,
and Cream.
that's it.
Shout out them. Yeah.
Peaches
yes,
and
sir.
Cream.
Yeah,
Shout out Peaches and Cream. That's
100%.
fire.
Yeah, I got that was a really fun operation, honestly. I've
Yeah.
never done that before.
Yeah, like so walk us through that kind of like what was your idea there? Because I don't know, we were just kind of curious about that whole process, and I kind of thought like it was a really good business opportunity for you. Like I think that was something cool to do. Like I haven't really ever seen something like that.
So my plan, I was feeling inspired,
Yeah.
as most of my shit starts. Feeling inspired one day, and I'm thinking like I want to utilize the shit that I learned at Grit better. you
Yeah.
know? And I'm like, I'm just gonna design a St. Patrick's Day shirt. You know, I want to put. I literally, it started off the idea in my brain was I want to post something green. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to do St. Patrick's Day design. Made a St. Patrick's Day design. I called up my buddies. I'm like, yo, what if everybody needs a green shirt for St. Patrick's Day,
Yeah.
right? We can capitalize on that. We can make the design applicable to all ages. It sort of did that because I put a beer mug on it, but I told some people it was just an empty mug. It didn't really make sense, but it was like
St. Patty's Day shirt. They know what they're getting into.
exactly, yeah.
No capping, Korey.
Yeah.
No cap, Korey.
Yeah. So then we just started cold calling businesses. I'm like, so there's parades.
Mm-hmm.
We got a Scranton Parade, Wilkes-Barre Parade, State Patties, big thing. We got Kutztown, Bloomsburg, Allentown, Bethlehem. You know, everywhere is going to be going crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to come up with a schedule. My goal is 10K in revenue. I'm going to try and sell that many shirts.
Yeah.
And so I'm calling people, calling Irish bars, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, hey, how's it going? You know, my name's Korey. What we're doing this year, blah, blah, blah. And I missed the mark a little bit because these people already ordered their shirts, but I did a workaround, right?
Yeah.
So if they're like, oh, we already ordered our green St. Patrick's Day shirts, I'm like, oh, perfect. That's not why I'm calling. I'm calling because we're offering an opportunity because on the back of everybody's shirts that we are personally selling
Yeah.
everywhere, we're offering free advertisements with your $100 purchase of a space to
Yeah.
put your logo on it. and I got a good amount of people to do it. That shit was filled on the back.
Yeah, it was.
Next year is going to be even better. But
yeah, that's
wow,
cool.
That's
man.
a crazy idea.
Right, yeah. And I even was selling these shirts wholesale to businesses. Like, yeah, so anybody who picks up 50 tees, their logo just goes on the back, and then I'll give you a personal one as well. Like, oh, perfect. We don't even have any yet. Just come drop them off. So I was, printing them, taking them, long sleeves, hoodies, tie-dye.
That's what our buddy Isaac did, right? He copped the Gemini Kick shirts. I saw those.
Yeah.
That's fire.
He wanted them specifically to have only his logo on
Yeah.
it, though.
That makes sense.
Yeah. He was the only one to do that. But it made sense, though, because he wanted to sell branded stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But, yeah, he got them. There was a couple other brands that got them. A dude in, like the old canteen building?
Yes.
There's a guy in there. He has a brand. Is it a brand?
It's like a clothing brand, right, in there?
Yeah. It's not really a clothing brand, though. It's kind of like a tailor shop. It's like a suit shop.
Okay.
It's called the Haberdashery. So I walk in, and the space is sick.
Yeah.
He's got, in the corner, he's got a little putter so that when guys are trying on suits, he's got a whole wall of proper 12.
Oh boy.
You can get shots of proper 12 while you're trying on your shit. And I was like, yo, this spot is sick. He's like, yeah, I'm the I'm the first shop to be in this building that wasn't just an office.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could tell because this would be the first one I picked too.
That's some savage shit.
Yeah. And he was like, and we talked to him, right? And he was like, well, how much would it be if I just picked up 50? And I look at Connor, right? And I'm like, because Connor, like I was the whole conversation. We just started talking about random stuff. The whole conversation, I was like, I gotta stick to what I learned at Grit.
Yeah.
This is gonna circle right back around, and I'm gonna get this sale by the time I leave, right? So he's like, right at the end, at first asking no buyer questions. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna ask regular questions. How long you been here? Oh, for sure. The girl walks in, I'm like, oh, who's this? That was my girlfriend. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
She starts telling me about how she works at a coffee shop, blah blah blah, everything. So at the end, right, he asked a buyer question. He goes, so, well, how much would it be if I picked up, say, 50? I was like, yeah, so we were just letting him go for 10, but I could just let you take 50 for 8 each. He's like, all right, let's do it. Just bring him next week. I'll write a check. And then later on, maybe like a week later, I'm going to order 200 shirts with my logo on it. I'm like, let's go. I'm like, perfect. I'll be here. Let me get your number. Send me. And then I look at Connor. I was like, that's how it's done. I was so hyped, bro. But, yeah, we dropped out the shirts. I don't know. I haven't talked to him. I have to link up with him next week, though.
Ooh, Isaac?
Damn.
No. This is a haberdashery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his name's Eric.
Ah, nice.
How did you guys go about finding which businesses you wanted to sell these shirts to?
Started off Irish bars. Makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, it does make
And
sense.
then it was just random.
Yeah.
Completely random. Like, hey, you know where there's a lot of businesses? The canteen building. Let's go. That's what it was. And then after that, we went to Pittston because they have their parade.
Yeah.
We go in to, and this was me and John. We went into a business and it was like a hot yoga.
Yeah.
It was something like that. Maybe like
hot yoga.
Something like that. Yeah. And a girl comes up. She goes, and I'm pitching the owner.
Yeah.
And she goes, hey, I know you. I look over, the guy's girlfriend.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, oh, yeah, her boyfriend picked up some for his shop. And they're like, oh, okay. I thought that you were just trying to. I was like, no, we're hooking everybody up.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, yeah, let me get some. I'm like, all right, yeah.
Wow.
It worked perfectly, bro. It was fire.
So I'm guessing you guys are like out there in the field then. You guys are really like, you guys are selling these shits at the parades like yourselves. You were setting up like little tables or whatever and just selling them or like by foot. Yeah. That's interesting too. So like that just gave me an idea. It's like you can probably I'm not saying necessarily that you want to do this or that you would even want to do this going forward, but like you can probably apply that same thing you did for St. Patrick's Day and do that in so many different other
Christmas, maybe, but St. Patrick's Day is a big holiday.
Yeah, but
St. Patrick's Day is the biggest one.
That's like because everybody's out. But I'm saying like for example, like here's an idea for you. Fucking the 4th of July is right around the corner. Like you fucking go to Kirby Park. How many fucking of those shirts do you think you could sell? You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot.
So it's like any like high foot traffic holiday or spot or like a parade was perfect. It's like that seems like
that's genius.
Yeah, it is genius.
Absolutely
genius.
Saying,
right?
Great job. Wait, okay, so here's the question though. Here's the money question. Did you hit the 10K revenue goal?
Unfortunately, I did not.
Damn.
But the reason why is because I started late.
Okay.
If I got to the businesses that I started calling before they even ordered their own personal stuff, not only would they have indulged in that thing, but they would have ordered like, all right, yeah, I'll send you my logo too. Get me down for 50 more of my own logo. You know what I mean? And I thought that I would have been early because I literally started like February like 14th.
Yeah.
I started on like Valentine's Day, started calling. These people ordered already in like January. And I was like, damn, you know?
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's great that they're placing orders at that.
I hit 6K in revenue though.
Nice.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
Corey Turner. God damn.
Yeah, no.
Yes, sir.
Especially based off just like the idea of like how it all started for you. Like, I'm just gonna go out and fucking make this shit. Like, that's why I always love hearing those kinds of stories.
You're a
It's
go-getter.
like, yeah, like
Fuck
yeah.
you literally like you.
Certified go-getter.
Yes,
there you
sir.
go.
He got
like,
the check, son.
yeah.
He's certified.
Yeah, I
Check him
But
out.
it's like, I don't know, man. Like, that's like the beauty of business. That's the beauty of this whole thing, that this whole journey or this whole chase that we're on for our dream, is that we set these goals and it's like, how the fuck are we going to hit them? Or how the fuck are we going to take that next step towards achieving this goal, this end goal that I want to achieve, or just keep pushing that bar a little bit further every time. And like, that's what you did. You set a goal, you set a plan, like, look, this is what I'm going to do. And mine, like you said, that's a genius idea. Like, that's some shit. Like, we have a little side, like, marketing business outside of what we do here.
I'll show him the thing we made.
Yeah, I think there's one.
Tell him the story.
But
For sure.
just for like businesses outside of, oh yeah, there's one there. So
For a local business.
that's just one a one-off thing that we did for Season, a restaurant that opened. We just made door hangers. For
We don't
them
have
and
any
we took
cards,
in-
do we? Like the other cards we made too, like the menu cards.
No, I don't think we
should
have any of
have
those. So yeah, we made like basically we do advertisements for like businesses, but that, like, what we did for that restaurant is we just stuck to like their brand. Season, they wanted to like put their menu. They wanted those passed, like they bought
pass
our
out
package
1,000
where we
of those.
passed them out to 1,000 houses throughout Wilkes-Barre. So like
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
we
This is good.
I'll show you the other thing we did too, because we have some plans going on.
The reason I
Hell
brought
yeah.
that up though is because we had a very similar idea that we wanted to do with Valentine's Day, similar to like what you were talking about with like March and St. Patrick's Day. Oh yeah, the placemats. But
This is kind of like the shirt idea.
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, just selling the ad slot.
Off. So let's not say that name.
Yeah, fuck them.
Let's not say that name.
But like all these people around, like it's like say this is your shirt. These are the people that bought these ads.
And those went inside the restaurants.
That's an insane idea.
Yeah. Yo, bro, this made a killing, bro.
Yeah.
Killing. Yeah.
How did you get the deal?
The deal? Which deal? Which one are you
So,
talking
like,
about?
so
Let's
you-
not say this.
With
name.
the people are connecting to the place.
Yeah. So are you cold calling them?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
people, yeah.
So the way we would do
Wow.
it, bro, honestly, this was my idea. So I would go around and I would find places where everybody left their business card, and I would pull hundreds of business cards off of like gym bulletin boards, or I'd go to banks, or I'd go to libraries, and I would grab business cards and I would sit down and call those. First, I would do newspapers. That wasn't as effective as the business cards were.
Yeah.
So I would call business cards and I would say, hey, we're doing placemats inside this restaurant. We're going to put 3,000 of these in this restaurant. So when people go down to sit and wait for their food, they're looking down, they're looking at this placemat, your business.
Right.
And they were like, oh, how much? I would say, 200 a square. And then, and then so we sold 28 squares, and we did this 3 times. So
Wow.
do the math.
Do the
on it.
math on
Round of
it.
applause. Dude,
Yeah.
that's seriously so impressive.
No, but I think the shirt idea is a bit cooler though. To be
Yeah,
honest.
way cooler and way more efficient and just a better idea overall. Like I was saying, this is really just some side shit. Like, we hardly talk about this at all. We've probably talked about it once or twice on the podcast, but like I was saying, the reason I brought that up is because we had a similar idea, similar to what you did for St. Patrick's Day, but we were going to do that with that business for Valentine's Day, like where we would sell like Valentine's Day style packages, because we primarily work with restaurants when we do that. Like, with a lot of people, we'll work with restaurants, and like one of a restaurant's biggest holidays is Valentine's Day. That's like when they're getting calls way ahead of time, booking reservations, like, we're all coming in this day, this time for whatever, Valentine's Day. So we had like a similar idea where we were going to market just towards like the seasonal holiday, which was Valentine's Day, for restaurants, because it's very big for restaurants. But we missed the mark, kind of similar like what you were talking about. We just got the idea too late. I think when we got the idea to do it, it was like February 3rd or February 4th. So we literally would have had like 10 days to make it happen. So
That was Mitch's advice though. Mitch was like, make sure you're paying attention to the calendar and capitalize off of the calendar.
because that's what he said that about the Woodlands specifically, was that that like one of their biggest days for revenue throughout the entire year was Valentine's Day.
Wow.
Because not only are they a bar, not only are they a restaurant, but they're also a hotel as well.
Right.
So what better holiday can you think to tie a hotel room, alcohol, and a restaurant all together? It's fucking Valentine's Day. Like, there's nothing else, like, there's no other holiday that I can think of off the top of my head that those 3 things like symbolize as much as Valentine's Day. Me and my wife, or a guy and his wife, or a girl and her husband are going to go out to this this what would you call it? Like
resort.
This resort where we're gonna buy a hotel room, check 1. We're gonna go out to dinner, check 2. We're gonna hit the bar, check 3. They just got paid 3 different ways, all from this one holiday that they were just really like they focused on just making it perfect. This time of the year, this holiday, we're gonna make this for our guests perfect, and then we're gonna make a killing. So like that's very important for businesses. I think is seasonal related shit. Yeah, they have it all in terms of that realm. Like if that's what you're into, if that's what you're trying to do, if you're trying to escape with your significant other for a little bit, you're trying to get away, you're trying to travel, they literally have it all for you. So like they kind of mastered that.
Yeah, I've only ever been there maybe twice. I think once. You guys hear about the Zach's turkey turn up like 2 years ago?
Turkey turn up? What the
bro.
fuck? Nah, never.
Zach hits me up, bro, and he's like, this is before I knocked for Grit and stuff. He's just like, yo, I just need a flyer. I'm doing like an EDM party at the Woodlands. I'm like, all right. He goes, also, you want to come? Bring a +1. Got a hotel room for you. You got it. I was like, oh, all right,
wow,
sweet.
That's sick.
Yeah, right. So I make a cool flyer, blah, blah, blah. I get there. It was a great time, bro. Like it was just fun.
That's like that. Yeah, gotta leave that story off. Yeah. But no, I mean, that's his passion though. So that's cool that he actually didn't tell us about that happened. But yeah, no, that's cool. Cause I know he was talking about.
It wasn't like incredibly massive. It was like there was a good amount of people there. It was like a random Thursday. Well,
what I took from like the conversation we had with Zach though is that like while I know like he's very passionate and he's very disciplined within his current business, which is knocking and doing all those kinds of things and whatever he does for Grit, like I know he's very like he enjoys that a lot and that pays him the money. But like the vibe that I got is that like Zach's a man of many hats. Like he has a bunch of different things that he's very interested in. One of them being travel, one of them being like DJing, EDM music. He loves that shit, and one of them was also creating clothes. So I think like. I forget how he worded it because I know it was just another quote he said, but it was something like along the lines of like doing, I think it was that, so eat shit so you can eat caviar later. I think that's like the subject in which he used that phrase. And it was because like he was going to do the shit that was hard now. Like he was going to put himself through the hard shit now so that he can focus on his passions later on in life when he's more well off. Now, I'm not going to say that that's the best way to go about doing things, but it's whatever works for you. Like for me, like I had to get into this game now. Like I couldn't, like we've had plenty of other opportunities to go do other endeavors and go try a bunch of different things. But like I'm in a weird place now where I cannot let go of what we built because I know that like we're right at that point where shit's going to start looking up very soon. Like this shit is going to be global very soon and I can just feel it. Like I can feel it. Yeah. Like I literally like, my thought process is never like, what am I going to do if this fails? Or like, what am I going to do in the future if this doesn't work out? Like, I don't see a future where this doesn't work out. And that kind of scares me more than this whole big thing that we're doing in general is like, I don't know what the fuck my life would be if it wasn't what I'm planning to do right now.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about psychedelics.
Yeah, and I know like life is like it's ever changing. Like you go through these motions and you find new loves and you find new things that you love doing and you find these new hobbies and these new passions. But my future does not involve like I don't even know how I would explain it. I basically I summed it up best the first way. I just couldn't see a future in which I'm not doing what I say I want to do right now, which is traveling the world, having fun with my friends, continue my fitness goals and my fitness dreams, getting into streaming, playing video games, traveling around the world, just doing bold shit. He and I want to buy a bus and fucking trick it out and just drive around the country and do podcasts with people all over the country and just like I can't see a future for myself in which I'm not doing that. And if that's the best thing to have too. Yeah, if there is one, truthfully, I don't care how good it is, I don't want it because it doesn't make like within my brain. And I like to look at things very logically. I also look at things very emotionally. I just don't want that. I don't know what it would be. I don't need to know what it would be. I just know I don't want it. I want what I want right now, and this is my goal, and this is the path that I'm on. So that's why I refuse to like forfeit this opportunity that I now have.
I'm not never compromise.
Yeah, no, you can't. You can't sell your soul. You can't sell your time just to go make $1 that when you're fucking 60, you're not going to care about. Like I'm very legacy driven now. I used to be, and I'm not going to say I'm not dollar driven. We're all driven by the idea of gaining more currency and the idea of the finer things and the going to fucking Turks and Caicos and buying the latest Rolex. Like that's all very appealing. I'm not going to say I'm not money driven in any way, but I'm very legacy driven now. And that's like that's my main priority in life, is just focusing on that. I can give a fuck less about anything else that gets in the way of that.
Right.
Like with just regular, like little side business shit, or just trying to make an extra dollar. Like I can't let that jade like my process, or like this whole thing will collapse.
Mm-hmm. Have either of you guys ever had a situation where you felt it? Like you, how do I word it? Like you get recognized from the podcast, or something where you just feel like,
yes,
yeah,
we have like really cool opportunities to do podcasts with really cool people.
Yeah,
and we just have to find a way to pull the strings and tie it together and make it happen.
Right.
Because we know it's just one of those. You know, if we get like one of those banger guests, then it's a different game.
Yeah.
Right.
Then it's a completely different game.
You're right, dude.
Yeah.
It's a completely different game, because then like their fans are like, finally he did a podcast, and like let's check out you know, it's
right. So
we love highlighting people, and we love, like, that's like one thing that's really cool. And we love networking too. Like we love meeting these new, like, really badass people. But like he is right in some ways, like all it takes is that one thing. Like for us, all it takes is that one thing that's going to elevate us to that next level, where it's like, and granted, I'm still like, I'm kind of from the cloth that I'll talk to anybody as long as you interest me. Like if you if what you're doing is interesting to me, I'll talk to you. I don't care if you're a multi-millionaire, or if you're literally like, we do podcasts with our friends and just bullshit and drink and fucking watch UFC and do stupid shit, because that's fun. I enjoy doing it. But I would talk to anybody that's entertaining. I just know that it'll take that one guest or that one clip or just one break, and that's going to be like the difference maker for us, because he and I always talk about behind the scenes. Like personally, I don't think most people can hang with us, like in terms of like what I know we're capable of doing, like in the vision and like the path that like we're trying to take and the vision that we have. I don't think most people can hang with that. Like in terms of like just the podcast space, like what we're trying to do. Our quality might not be the best, like our production might not be the best, like we're still learning with all those things, but just with our vision and like personality, I don't think there's many podcasters out there that can hang with us. That's why I know really all it takes is like the leveling up, continuing to get better at the things we can control, like production, and like he's saying, like pulling the trigger on buying the equipment we need. And then really for us, I genuinely believe all it is that one break, and then we're good.
Yeah. That's usually, I mean, I've had breaks like that before.
Yeah.
And I thought that it was like the one break, and it's like once you get to that one break, you get to a point where you're like, all right, well, now there's a whole new scope of things that you need, and then you need another break, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it comes to a point where like the thing that you used to think was a break is just the average Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like doing a banger podcast with a crazy guest is just the next step.
Just the usual,
Yeah.
I was actually kind of having that realization the other day, like thinking how far we came. Like I was in a really weird spot the other day, because I was like, and it was kind of egotistical of me, but like when this whole thing first started, and like we just started this podcast, and our videos are getting a couple hundred views, and we have like fucking like 30 subscribers. Like I thought we were the shit compared to like now, where we're about to hit 700 subscribers. We're averaging way more views than we were back then. It's like, now, like, I feel like we're almost smaller than we ever been in a weird way.
I feel that too, bro.
Because it's like, this is just the usual now. Like, when you first start doing an endeavor like this, it's like, and again, like, we're young, so that's why I'll say, like, it was definitely, a lot of it was egotistical. I thought, like, I was the shit because I was doing something everybody else was scared of doing, and I was stepping out, and I was, like, chasing my dream. But,
yeah. It's because the first step's the biggest step.
Yeah.
Like, not a lot of people think about it this way, and it's like, when you take the very, very small steps in business, no matter the size of the step you take in business, you're automatically ruling out the next guy that didn't do it. So, like, just by waking up, right, you rule out probably 50% of podcasters.
Yeah.
Just by sitting here, right, rule out another 30%.
Yeah.
Now, it's like a percentile thing.
Yeah.
Like, you get closer and closer to the top. But, like, just, like, the very, very small things, like, rules out, like, just most people.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But it's, like, the bigger you get, the more you realize how small you are.
Yeah. And it's, like, the more you realize, like, the big projects that you were tackling early on are really, like, just some shit that is normal now. But you're always, kind of like you just made me think about this earlier, is, like, you're always going to run into new problems. Like, the idea of, like, the break, you're kind of right. Like, I don't even know if that necessarily exists, because it's, like, you go through like because when you said you've had numerous breaks and it all kind of just turns out to be the same thing, like right when you said that, I thought like, well, wait, that was kind of the same situation for us. Like we've had numerous things that were breaks for us that have done very well, or shit was going very smoothly here.
Yeah.
But then it's just back to the basics. Like another Thursday is another episode. We're just going to keep on pushing. And then you're going to run into new problems. Like a new problem is always going to arise itself. The problems you were dealing with early on that you solved are just going to lead to more problems. And then you're still just chasing the same shit. It's like, that's the game that we're playing is like, it's a game of steps. It's a game of inches. It's a game of yards. Like, yeah, there's levels to it, really.
Right. Yeah, like one of the biggest breaks I had, and this was working with Limitless.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was a break for everybody. But we went on tour with Action Bronson.
Yeah.
And
I remember you telling us about this.
Yeah, yeah. And I was only able to make it to 2 shows, New York shows. Craziest experience I've ever had.
Yeah.
In a different way. Like it wasn't like this crazy like paradise party thing. It was just like a window into just a different
realm.
Yeah, totally different realm. Like Zach, shout out Zach.
Shout out Zach.
Zach drove me there, right?
Yeah.
Because I got into a car crash like a week before.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you told us this.
Yeah.
Was it the same car crash or was it a different
Same
car?
car.
Okay,
Yeah.
same one. Okay, good.
And he takes me there, right? And Zach's like, bro, we're about to be on tour with like Action Bronson. Like, this is gonna be like, what is this gonna be like?
Yeah.
Like, bro, I guess it's as good as yours. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I get there and I meet these guys, Miller, Steven, Brandon. Shout out them, man. Shout out Miller McCoy, absolute legend, bro. Call him Make It Happen Miller. That's his name on
Make it happen.
Make It Happen Miller. But yeah, shout out Miller and shout out Steven. For like just allowing me to be a part of Limitless from the jump and everything. But so we get there, right? And we have a hotel room and they're like, I think to that day was the day before everything. And it was weird. It was like, not weird, but it was crazy from the jump because the day before the Rams won the Super Bowl.
Ah, okay.
That was unreal for me.
Oh, you're a Rams fan?
Huge.
Fuck.
Huge Rams. It was unreal for me. I never thought I'd see the day. But I was already hyped. I was wearing Rams gear.
Yeah.
I was on my way there. So we have one day, free day, the day after, and the day after, 2 shows at Terminal 5. It's not like a massive venue, but it's like a pretty cool underground venue.
Yeah.
It holds a couple thousand people. I think it's like 5,000 or 6,000 people.
Damn.
That might be completely wrong, but I think it's like 5,000 or 6,000. But so I finally meet these guys, right, that I've known only from the internet.
Yeah.
That allowed me to be a part of their company, right? And just like be the designer for the company. And I was like, yo, like it was crazy, just like the DAP, you know?
Yeah.
It was unreal. And I was like, it's amazing to finally meet you guys. And they're like, yeah, we have some running around to do. If you want to just come with us, help us carry boxes, like Zach, we'd appreciate some help. We gotta go to some pop-ups. So some of the people that were like on tour, were doing like signings, in the area. So we're driving through the city in a Sprinter. It's like some of the streets, bro, are like this, and the Sprinter's like that wide too, and we're like crazy. I was like, yo, we're about to like smoke shit, and they're like, nah, we're good. We get to like, and like this is what I mean by a totally different realm, right? We pull up, and there's a line of people going around the block. Yeah. Around like 3 blocks, right? And they're waiting to meet The Alchemist. You know The Alchemist?
Sounds very familiar.
He's a big producer.
Okay.
He was on tour. He does like I don't know if he does all of Action Bronson stuff, but
I'm thinking of the book. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Shout out the book too. But he's sitting there, and we have like this crate, and I'm like, what's in the crate? And I don't know, I don't remember correctly. But I'm pretty sure it was just like CDs to sign, or maybe like albums, or what's it called?
The vinyl things.
Vinyls, yeah. All these people, bro, are just waiting and like with their shit to get signed, and I'm just walking through the line, and they're all like, "Yo, like what the fuck?" You know, because I'm not like wearing any like crazy shit. I'm not an artist. We get to the front, hand it to him. He daps us all up. I was like, "Did I just dap up the Alchemist?" I'm like, yo, that was crazy. He's like, all right, yo, I'll see you guys later. He's like, all right. And then like, he's like, all right, guys, we just got the shit. Like, we're going to start signing right now. And everyone's like, yeah. And I just dip. We just get like food.
Oh, wow.
I was like, bro, that was crazy. And then we like, you guys ever hear of Kid Super?
I don't know.
Kid Superhero, you said?
No, Kid Super. He has his name isn't Kid Super, but his brand is called Kid Super. He was just actually, he worked on the Louis Vuitton runway show.
Oh, wow.
And I think he was just like, he's like right now, like the creative director. I don't know if he's a creative director of Louis Vuitton, but it's something like that. Like recently, a couple months ago, got that title. But we link with him too at his thing, and he has like open bar, free open bar, sponsored by Jaeger, pop-up shop. And I'm like, he's like selling these things he made, and he has like 300,000 followers on Instagram or some shit. And I was just talking to him, and I was like, bro, this is crazy. Yeah. Like, I've never been in, like, a point in my life where I'm just, like, have all these, like, crazy influential people that I could just talk to and I work with, you know? And then we get to the show. Earl Sweatshirt's on stage. He's, like, recording. He's like, yo, we at Terminal 5. I'm in the background of his story on Instagram. And I'm like, yo, what the hell? It was crazy. And then we were just selling merch there. But it got to a point where I didn't want to, like, I was trying to set a good impression and everything, and I didn't want to just start, like, going to enjoy the show. I was staying, like, where I should because I know I was working. The one kid, Brandon, he's like, yo, you could go enjoy the show if you want, man. Like, you can take a little break, go see what's up. Like, here's the backstage pass. I'm like, all right.
Wow.
He's like, you know where to go? I'm like, no. He's like, all right, just follow me. Walks. The crowd, bro, is like Moses splitting the Red Sea. He's just walking, and this holographic pass, right? Yeah. They're just like, whoosh, and I'm just like, yo, that's crazy. We get to the front. He shows it to the dude, opens the fence, right? We walk up on the stage. Earl is performing. Yeah. And we're like, not like on the stage, but we're like on like the stairs that go to the stage. He's like, all right, listen, you're going to see some people you recognize. You're going to see some famous people you recognize. Don't act stupid. And I was about to be like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? He's like, all right, let's go. And I'm just like, thinking in my head, I'm like, oh, what does that mean?
Oh, shit.
That's fucked.
Right? We just walk. We walk into the stairwell, and Bronson, you know how, you guys like know about Action Bronson?
I know a good amount about him.
He's like a bodybuilder now.
Yeah.
And shit, yeah. So he's got like a cutoff shirt of like one of the shirts we printed. Like we printed the tour merch.
Yeah.
Like the tour shirt, it's cut off, and he has, I don't know like what it's called like in weight terms, but it's like a stick with a weight at the top. But there's like faces on the weight. You got like custom made.
Maybe it's like one of those clubs.
Yeah.
Like shoulder clubs.
Right? Yes, that's it. Yep. Yeah. He's getting like, there's like a camera crew, bro. And we're just like, yo, excuse me. We just walk through the camera crew.
Uh-oh.
That's me. My bad.
Uh-oh. Stay hard.
Merry Christmas.
But we walk past the camera crew. We go up the stairs. Joey Badass is sitting there.
Wow.
And he's just like this, right? And there's like a balcony. And me and Brandon, he's like, yo, we just watched a show here. I'm like, all right. So I'm sitting here. Brandon's right here. Joey Badass right here. And I'm like, I wasn't going to be like, yo, is that who I think it is?
I'd have been like, go get his podcast. Check it out. I'm really going to try and make deals.
Yeah. I was just sitting there. We're just watching the show for a little bit, right? I think I went and I got some vodka. I got like a vodka Red Bull or something. And I was keeping it low key and shit. But yeah, it was unreal. And then after the show, like all the guys come, they're like, yo, that was fire. Like, good work, boys. Like, you got all the merch sold and everything. Like, absolute killer night. Like, it was like, we sold so much shit, bro. It was unreal. Yeah. But then I realized, like, people were talking. And I think, like, some people that were there were introducing themselves to other people. And I heard a conversation that was going on with all these people that were involved in this tour. And, like, I overheard someone being like, wait a minute, you didn't go to college, did you? And he was like, yeah. And they're like, oh. And I realized, like, all these successful people are just all like, man, like, we all know and accept that college is fucked. Yeah. And I was like, bro, I belong here, bro.
That's awesome, what I mean? Man.
It was unreal.
It's crazy, those, like, journeys that life will take you on when you're, like, chasing something and discovering yourself at the same time. Like, it's crazy the amount of experiences and, like just crazy days that we've had just due to the fact that, like, we do this. Like, I've had some of the most memorable days of my whole life ever since this whole thing started because of how, like, meaningful these interactions and these things that we're doing actually are. Like, it's just so crazy that, like, when you entertain, like, the lifestyle of being a creator and going down that endeavor, it's like shit will really open up for you, and, like, you will have the wildest experience. Like, it's like the classic phrase, like people just typically like to enjoy or remember those, like, blurry nights, like drinking or getting fucked up with your friends. Like, when you're doing these kinds of things, that's not the high you're chasing. Like, that's
Did you post that on your story a couple days ago?
What's that?
You were like, the memories I want to remember aren't going to be the blurry nights.
No, I think actually what I'm referring to is my friend Ryan Judge posted that.
Yeah.
I saw, like, he posted something like that saying, it was basically just like a line that said something like that, like, I won't remember like the blurry nights, like getting fucked up with friends. Like I'll remember like I forget what
hike.
yeah.
It was like a hike.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll remember the mountain mornings.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what it was. So it's like when you're doing this shit, is like the parties and the women and the alcohol and the drugs, like that's not what you're chasing. Like I don't know any way to describe that to people that don't understand what I mean, because I know too many people and I went to school with too many people and I still like am associated with too many people that all they fucking care about is the next party or the next Thursday at the bars or the next whatever the fuck it is, like this next girl that I'm talking to this day or the next time I'm about to go get high with these people this day. And it's like when you're doing these kinds of things, like when your projects have meaning and like when you're going based off passion and like you're actually trying to discover yourself and who you are and what you want to do, that typically, at least for me, like I know I'm speaking for myself right now, but that's not the high that you chase anymore. Like that's so unexciting to me now, like thinking about those kinds of things. Like what excites me now is literally just that, like what fucking mountains in Arizona that we're about to go climb? Like what? Like that, like I was just having that phone call with JJ the other day, like going to Arizona and taking this like crazy hike. Like that's the shit I look forward to. Going to Texas in a month and doing podcasts out there and getting to discover a new city and a new state halfway across the country I live in. Like that's the high that I chase now. And that, I don't know, like that's so much more meaningful to me. I wish other people understood that the same way I do now.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Creating those experiences, I think that's some of the most important shit that we're after.
It's like you either directly manifest it or you indirectly manifest it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I was sitting there with Zach too. Like it was like after the show and stuff. I think we were just sitting, maybe getting food. And I was like, bro, like, what did I do to get here?
Yeah.
And Zach was just like, bro, you are a great designer. You belong here. And I was like, yeah, bro, you're right. And it was just hype, bro. It was a great moment.
I know he and I experienced this. I wanted to ask you because like I know none of us are like super like fucking crazy A-list celebrity famous or anything, but do you ever still get that imposter syndrome, like where you feel like why the fuck do I deserve this life, or like why are all these good things happening to me, or why do I have this work ethic that I have achieved now, or just why is my situation as good as it is? Like, do you ever think like you don't deserve that, or do you ever think like, what the fuck did I do to get here? Like, does that ever go through your head?
Yeah, I remember the first, not that much anymore.
Yeah,
but it used to happen to me a little bit. I remember the first time it ever happened to me. We were, and this was crazy, like crazy coincidence.
Yeah,
but just like turned out to be like a thing where it didn't seem like a coincidence.
Yeah.
We were doing a pop-up shop in Harrisburg at this place. And it was like a place that like Lil Skies goes to a lot. There was gonna be a couple celebrities there and everything. And we were going there and I'm waiting in line to get in, and absolutely crazy thing. Random kid from Connecticut recognizes me because he follows my brand, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And there's just like a bunch of girls surrounding me too. And he's just like, yo, no way. Is that Korey from SIKADELIXX? And I was just like, me and all my friends were just like, yo, what? Like, bro, I have like 7,000 followers. Yeah. It's like, he's just like, nah, bro, that's you. I was like, yo, I appreciate you, bro. He was like, you really? Like, let me see. He's like, look. I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah, that's nuts.
All these like people around me and the girls were just like, what the hell? And I remember even the bouncer that was waiting to like open the doors was about to just be like, hold up, wait a minute. You're supposed to be back there. Yeah. Type shit. And I was just like, it was crazy. And I remember after that, I was like, yo, that was weird, guys. Yeah. Like, was that like a setup or some shit? And they were like, bro, no, like, I guess we made a name for ourselves. And I'm like, I guess. I don't know. I mean, the kid's from Connecticut. You know, it was crazy weird. But I remember that whole, the pop-up during it, after that happened, I was just like, it was just, it left like a weird thing. I don't know. Like, I didn't really like earn that or something. Yeah.
It's a good power to have if your heart's in the right place. Like if your heart's in the right place, like having like that reach and that like connection to an audience, like that's very powerful. And like you can leverage that in so many ways. And not even just leverage it. Like you can genuinely like offer content that helps people. Like that's one of our, I know I'll speak for myself. That's one of my primary goals. And I say it like, till I'm blue in the face on almost every pod, but part of the whole reason I did this is just to show people that it is possible to like do what you want to do, to like chase your dreams, to go about doing that. So as long as like you don't let the audience or the comments or the likes or the numbers or the views or whatever, as long as you don't let that shit get to your head, then like I think it's an amazing power to be able to wield. It really is.
It really is. Yeah, I agree. I've seen it happen too. There's a lot of brand owners that like back when I started my brand were like the top popping guy. And
Yeah.
ended up just screwing like a bunch of people over, people that like I currently still work with. And
Yeah.
It's just like, damn, you know, like that person was just inspiring at first, but then fell to the group of the people that are just like, know to stay away from that guy.
Yeah.
Their name is notorious.
Or not even just that. Like you're just in it for the wrong reasons. Like some people
Hey, go piss
just
real quick.
go for it. Can you grab me water on your way back up? Some people just what the fuck? I lost my train of thought when you said that. Motherfucker. Here we are.
Let me think if I go backtrack.
What the fuck was I saying? Oh no, I was just saying like some people that you can just tell like they genuinely like their heart is just not in the right place. Like some people are really just looking to how can I maximize like the amount of money that I'm making? How can I maximize the amount of power I have due to these views that I'm getting and leverage it in a way like you see all the time like these tyrants, like these business tyrants that get discovered by people for like treating their workers or treating their staff or whatever very shitty because like they are working towards something else that's different than what you and I are working to achieve, which is like legacy, greatness, whatever it might be. But like those people are doing it for a different reason. They're doing it because they might be greedy. They're doing it because they might just want the fame. They might feel like there's a weird line between like not having a voice. Cause there was a point in my life I felt like that. And that was like part of the reason why I wanted to entertain people. But that can get jaded. Like some people feel like they don't have a voice, so they do the good thing and they try to get a voice for themselves so that they finally can say like they did that, and then they're touching people and they're reaching people. Some people feel like they're neglected by life or they're neglected by society, and then they go down the darker route, which is like, I'm going to do this for selfish reasons, and I'm just going to try to better myself and nobody else, and I don't care who I have to step on to get where I need to be. That's just like, that's a path. Like at some point in your career, you're going to have to choose whether or not you want to do it for the right reason or you want to do it for the wrong reason. I don't think like that actually happens to people like where they have to theoretically choose that path. I think over time you kind of just inherently decide which way you're going to go. But a lot of people do go the bad route, which is like, I'm going to just do this for selfish reasons.
Yeah.
Here we are, hydration.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. Shout out hydration. Yes, sir. Let's go. Yeah, no, I see that a lot with the clothing brand thing. Like there'll be somebody that emerges and they're making real cool stuff, and then their brand turns into a cash grab.
Yeah.
Because it could be either like that person is no longer involved, or they sold out, or there's other hands in the pot now, and they have to meet a quota of stuff that they release, and it turns into like, man, you really made some really cool like clothing in the form of art in the past, and it gave you a platform, and then it turned into this was clearly a cash grab.
You lose touch. Like you lose touch with what made your work or your art or whatever it is special. Like that's another thing we talk about very often over here is like authenticity. Like it's very easy to tell when somebody's heart is not in the right place in business. Like at least for me, like when I can tell that, like I think it's very easy to tell like when somebody's mind and their heart is just on a different path than like what mine is or like what we're trying to do. Like that's very inherent to me in business and content creation, and that all ties into that authenticity thing. Like I know so many people that say they want to start posting YouTube videos or say they want to start podcasting or say they want to start streaming, and it's literally just to follow the trend of doing it because it looks cool. That's not authentic in any way. Like you're not doing it because like you feel like you have a message to spread or you have something like you want to get off your chest or you have these words that you want to get out. You're just doing it because it looks cool. And I think that that's kind of definitely like what I see a lot in like the creator space in terms of clothing, because I know you brought that up. Like it seems like I also know a lot of people that just make clothing so that they can say that they make clothing.
Yeah.
Because it looks like it's cool to do.
People
like
that lack a why.
Yeah. Which is, I don't know, that's rough. I don't know how you go about finding that. I think you got to really find that deep within yourself. And I don't think it's ever just like a snap of the fingers and you'll know your why. Like, I think it's kind of like what I was saying before, like where over time, like life is going to try to propel you in one of two different directions. It's either you're going to go the good route, you're going to go the negative route, but your life will build towards that. And like things will happen in your life that'll lead you towards one direction or the other. And I don't know. I think it's just, you gotta just do what you want to do. I think if that makes sense, just go your path. And if it ends up being the wrong path, you'll realize that at some point, if you want to be good or not, you just got to follow your own path either way. Just fucking do it how you want to do it. Be authentic, be you, do what 100%. You want to do.
Yeah, for some people, it's hard to put that together. What's up?
Now I was gonna say, where are you at with all your brands? Like, where is everything at with those? Where's the process with all those things?
So for SIKADELIXX has recently been on the back burner a little bit for me, just because IMMORTAL and working with Limitless has been, I guess, like a different. It's like a combination of a bunch of things.
Yeah,
the industry's changed.
Let's get into it.
For sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the industry's changed when it comes to, I guess the reason why I started my brand versus now, and who eats and who doesn't, I guess, in the community. Like I was saying earlier about how people now are monetizing information and monetizing digital assets.
Yeah.
That didn't exist a couple of years ago, and that's resulted in like just so many brands being started.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes like you just see like literally like every day, like 10 brands getting started, and it's like the same idea just getting pounded into the ground.
Yeah.
The same guy selling them every time. Like 20 people want to start a brand today, and they want their logo to be a broken heart. And the same guy sells all 20 people every single day on manufacturing that same shit, and that same brand doesn't exist in 4 weeks because that's the end of it. You know what I mean? It's just like the fact that people are capitalizing on like the information being sold is just like I guess it hurt it a little bit. It hurt the authenticity, man. It used to be like just a handful of brands, and this is when I was like inspired. And this, but not that I'm not inspired now, but this is when I like first got inspired.
Yeah.
To just start like my brand and strive towards something that no longer exists. It's like to be the top brand now. It's not that you're like earning and learning and using and the tools. It's just like it's pay to win.
Yeah.
I guess. And it's not that it like breaks the bank to like buy the manufacturers, but like if I worked my ass off for 5 years to learn this manufacturer that nobody knew that could make this very, very, very specific thing, and this other guy found them and sold it to 100 people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That now my product is on the market 100 times, designed 100 different ways. And it's like time, it messes up the timing. Like this person's dropping that at that time, so I got to drop it at this time. And most of the time, most of the people that are utilizing all this information are people that aren't even serious in the first place. Yeah. And you shouldn't even take them seriously. Like, just do what you want to do when you want to do it and execute it well. Yeah. That's how it is, but it definitely changed, like, at least a little bit, you know?
Luckily, it seems like it worked out for you, though. I mean, I don't know if it's just, like, because, like, I have a different style than you, but, like, what you guys create or what you create specifically is like, I don't typically see that. Like that's not like the format that it seems like most people are just copy and pasting. Like you were saying before, like the broken heart, you can go to any fucking TJ Maxx or any fucking Marshalls or whatever in a nationwide radius and probably find that same shirt across the entire country. Or on Instagram, you can go on Instagram and see the same shit. But your shit is also pretty unique in that realm. I don't know if it's because like my I don't really have the widest variety in terms of like my taste in fashion, but like for what you create, like I don't see nobody creating the type of shit that you create. So
yeah, it's probably a little bit of a combination of both. But yeah, that's what I mean. I strive now. Like I have to just put, you know, I have to divert extra effort into making sure that my shit is like has a bet. Like I told you guys about my last collection, the bad trip thing.
I think.
Oh yes, you did.
Yeah,
you
so
did.
that was the first time like I just really built in like a whole storyline, and I have a bunch more of ideas like that too. And that's going to be like the future of my brand, rather than in the past. It kind of was like inspired by a more shallow idea of just like an interest in this design style. Like if I have an interest in a design style, I'll make some stuff. But now it's like I have an interest in this design style. I combine that with an interest in this story that I found that I think people should know about. And I put that together into one, you know, collection project, and then it results in what it results in.
That was a question I have for you. I wanted to ask you before. I don't know if that's what you meant by what you just said, but do you like tie like personal shit that you're going through in terms of like emotions or like battles you're going through in your own life, or just like really just day-to-day shit that you're experiencing that you tie into like your creative process and how you create your clothes? Like I was talking to him similarly to how like a rapper or singer or something will like take like real like pain or emotion that they're feeling in their life and they'll put it into their craft / music or their lyrics or whatever. Like, do you do that with your art?
That's a good question. I don't think so. I feel like I have, because like I have created things that have been profound enough to like, you know, resonate with me personally. But at the same time, I don't think I was ever like inspired by some situation I went to to just like make something. Back in the day, back like when I was in college making stuff like that, I wasn't good at taking my own, I guess, emotions and portraying it outward into a design. Like I remember I drew something once about how I felt, and today I can't recognize what it is.
Yeah.
And it didn't really even make sense to me after I drew it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna do that anymore. But I think it's more about like I get inspired by other people's projects a lot. Yeah, probably more than anything, because I guess like the caliber of people's like other brands, other designers, if I find like something that just really like disrupts the space.
Yeah.
Like it like without saying it, like this designer did something so good that it calls you out as a designer.
And you're like, fuck, like I gotta get better. Like I gotta be on my P's and Q's. Like if there's motherfuckers like that out there that are like taking what I do and they're doing it that much better, like how much more can I improve by like taking with I'm very similar to you in that manner too, because I like to look at other works of art like similar that like are in my field, like shit that I enjoy doing, and look at how good other people do them and like fuck, like I can be doing this way better than I am, or I could be putting at least way more time into it than I am to try to achieve what they have.
Yeah, like I remember, I forget who said it, but it was like a brand. And I remember, like, I was designing stuff here and there, putting together projects here and there, selling shirts here and there. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty good at this, whatever. This one dude was like, nah, like, you don't understand. I know what it was. It actually wasn't a designer at all. It was X. No, it was a designer. It was, you know the brand Revenge?
Yeah.
Isn't that X's thing?
Yeah, well, it's this dude, Garrett.
Okay.
But him and Garrett were, like, homies. But, like, X and Garrett, if I recall correctly, I haven't heard this story in a very long time, but this inspired me. Garrett and X, they liked each other in a friendship way. But Garrett lived in California and X lived in Florida. So I guess like he either flew him out or he like saved up money to fly out there. And like I remember like X was living in like a trap house or something.
Yeah.
And Garrett came over and they were like, all right, we're going to come up with a tour called the Revenge Tour. Yeah. I want revenge to be my thing. Like, when people see revenge, I want them to think of me. I want this tour to be the Revenge Tour. We're going to get paid from this. Yeah. Garrett stayed in that house for like 7 days and didn't leave and just drank Monsters. Yeah. And came up with like, just like fucking crazy pieces. Yeah. It might not have been 7 days. It might have been like a couple days or maybe even more. I don't remember correctly, but I remember he did like a profound, like a crazy amount of time just like locked away designing. And I've seen other designers too, like you know the shit that what's his name just did, the quarterback for the Packers, Aaron Rodgers. You know the darkness thing that he did? Yeah,
the darkness retreat. Yeah, it's actually I was just trying to like do my due diligence and learning about like what that was.
That shit's wild.
Yeah, because
that is wild.
Wild.
But
shit.
Bro, like, because he was
seen designers do that.
Really?
Yeah.
He was saying some profound shit, like, and this is something I really want to start applying to my life. I don't know how you do this, like, because he's on a different level of wisdom, Aaron Rodgers. But like, he said one day he would wake up and he would live the day like he's a retired football player, and like he would just take in, like he said I would wake up and I would carry out my day as if I'm done playing football and never gonna pick up another football again, and see how that makes me feel inside, how that makes me feel just in general, like what darkness. My day is like, just like on this retreat that he was doing. I don't think it was necessarily just during that darkness retreat, but I know in this instance that he's referring to, it was no phone, no social media, no internet. He was kind of just up in the hills, just living for a little bit. And he said one day he would wake up and he would live the day with that thought that he was a retired NFL player and that it was over and it was on to the next step, the next chapter, and like how that made him feel. And then he would go to sleep, he would sleep on it, he would wake up the next day and live the day like he's still the greatest quarterback alive, or still the greatest quarterback playing football currently, and I'm still a bad motherfucker and I'm going to play another year and I'm going to be a savage. And he would live that day and he would see how that would make him feel. And I don't know if I can do it to the level in which he did it, but that seems like a very wise path to take when you really need an answer to a really personal question that you're having in life that you can't find the answer to. Like, live the question on both answers. Like, live that question one day like you answered yes, or one day you answered no. And this could be about anything, like any question you're going through in life. Like, should I go here and do this? Well, I don't. Like, if it's like something that keeps you up at night and you're thinking about it constantly, live one day where you do what you say you're going to do, or live a day where you don't do what you say you're going to do, and like just see how it makes you feel. And I think that could probably be very beneficial for most people on like endeavors like this.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I think about that, and I feel like it could be flawed because he's lived days thinking he's the best quarterback, you know, and that's probably a more foreseeable reality.
Yeah.
Versus the first day he's ever felt like he should retire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, his comfortable life that he's lived for the past couple of years is going to take over, and that's going to be the path he takes. That's the way I see it. Maybe he just, like, did something where he just completely, like, blank slated his mind or something.
I should give this context. He did say that when he went into that retreat, he was 90% set on retiring, 10% set on playing. So, like, he went in there and all that happened, and then he came out the other side like, I'm going to fucking play. Like, I'm going to do this.
I'm not fucking leaving.
Yeah. That's crazy. And he's going to switch to a different team and go play somewhere else, like, which is gnarly. But
is he going to the Jets? Is that confirmed?
It's not confirmed, but that's like 99% where they're going. Like, the problem with him is like when you're of the status of Aaron Rodgers, like if it's like, say, for example, a sport like the NFL where it's a big business, they want proper compensation. Like if you're going to, like most people would think, like if you're a guy like Aaron Rodgers, you just, what you say goes, you make the decision. Like if you don't want to be here and you want to play somewhere else, like that's just what happens. But that's not the reality of business. Like the reality of business is that Aaron Rodgers is just another queen on the chessboard for Green Bay. It's like, if we're going to give him to the Jets, like we fucking want something in return. Like we're not just going to give you this Hall of Fame franchise leader, fucking one of the literal greatest players to ever play the game of football. We're not just going to give you him for free. So they want like the proper compensation for doing that.
So they're discussing a trade.
Yeah, so they would like the Jets are probably going to have to trade Green Bay something pretty serious for Aaron Rodgers.
I wonder what.
I don't know
think
what
they have any players.
The Jets have a good team. I think like where they would really get struck is like picks and shit. Like they would have to give up a bunch of picks. But
sounds like the Rams.
Yeah, that's how he made it seem though. Is like it's like they're basically like the deal's not finalized until the Green Bay figures out a proper way to be compensated for like the trade, which it does make sense business wise. That's how he was explaining it. Aaron Rodgers is a really wise guy. Like separate from football, like. I've listened to him on numerous podcasts and like he goes on that Pat McAfee show all the time. And he'll like just talk and he'll riff about like what he's going through in life. Like he's a really wise guy in terms of how he handles like his emotions and how he handles business and how he just carries out all those things. Because you would look at, most people would probably look at like a team like Green Bay wanting to move on from him like a diss. Like, I did this for you for so long and you're going to turn your back on me and you're going to kind of shun me like this. And most people would look at that like, damn, like they stabbed me in the back. He doesn't look at it like that at all. He looks at it like I'm a veteran. I understand this fucking game. I know that this is just business. Like what they're doing to me and what I'm doing to them is business. We mutually understand this and we're going to mutually part ways. Like that's like, there was no bad blood. That's like what he made it seem like, even though they did kind of stab him in the back. That's like what you would think. That's what I would think too, is like I've been with this team for like what, 15 years, however many years he played there. And it's like, they're kind of turning their back on me. Like they stabbed me in the back. I've done so much for them and they're kind of shunning me now. But he's like, that's why I kind of brought that up, is because he's like a very wise guy and like recognizing that, like, let me not think about this emotionally. Let me think about this. Cause I mean, no matter which way you coin it, Aaron Rodgers is a fucking savage. He knows a thing or two more than all of us do to be able to be that great for that long and still be able to keep a level head. So he just has a different understanding on these things. And just his outlook on those kinds of things in terms of business, I think like is something everybody in the space of doing business with other people should adopt, because he has a very clever way of operating that, like those waters, which I really have respect for. Yeah,
I remember like I listened to some of those podcasts, especially the one with the, I don't know like who they are, but like the goofball guy, you know what I mean? He just asks like questions that make you be like, yo, what?
I think that's Pat McAfee. That's that guy.
Not him. It's he has like long hair and he just
and there's like the chubby guy in the background.
Yeah. That's fucking what's his face? I know that their show is called Sunday Conversations. Fucking
one with
bro,
Drake too.
I gotta give that guy a shout out because I know it. It's Caleb Presley. That guy. Yeah. Caleb Presley's funny as fuck, bro. I love that guy.
I saw him on that podcast, and then another one where I don't think it was Joe Rogan, but I remember Aaron Rodgers like being like, he's like, all right, I don't think that joke's funny or something. And I was like, damn, bro, he seems like a real serious guy. Yeah.
How can you not be though? Like he's a general in many ways. Like he's went to war with NFL teams, and he's went to war with press, and he's went to war with business people, and he's went to war in all these different situations so many different times in his life, and has came out the opposite end of it unscathed. Like still a really down to earth dude, like a really like interesting person, a very thoughtful person. Like you got to think like there's so much wisdom within somebody like that who's experienced that many years of life, that many years of business, that many years of just everything he's gone through. And yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, he's crazy. Aaron Rodgers is a fucking savage. Come get on the Go Getters podcast. Let's go.
Yeah. I thought that he would have felt, probably does feel some type of way about them getting Jordan Love and not getting any receivers.
Yeah. Well, I know at the time he definitely did feel some type of way about that. Like because that was public knowledge, I think.
I would have been like, bro.
Yeah. I don't know when that happened. I want to say it was 2 years ago, but that's why there was talks of Aaron Rodgers retiring like 2 years ago, and even last year is because of all that shit that was going on with like them bringing in other quarterbacks. And that makes sense. Like especially in football, like there's a time stamp on everything. You can't play football until you're fucking 90 years old. Let's just put it that way. So like Aaron Rodgers has seen his days, and it's definitely like you'd be ignorant if you said it's not coming to an end. Like if this isn't his last year, I'd be surprised. You know what I mean? So like, I
said the same thing last year too.
Yeah, no, that's true.
He said, I didn't really follow him too well. He didn't do too good this year though.
No, Green Bay as a whole didn't do that good this year, but they lost their biggest weapon, which was Devontae Adams. He went to the Raiders. So, I mean, they were still like, they weren't a bad team, but it's just like, it's a weird situation. It definitely is.
I find it hard to keep track of all the players anymore, honestly. I like, in like 2010, for some reason, I had like a good understanding of all the players, and I knew everybody, but now, like, every time I hear a new player, I'm like, did I hear that guy before? Like, what fucking, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, someone will get traded, and then one of my friends that follows football will be like, oh, that's crazy. And I'll be like, wait, like, I remember hearing that somewhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not really good at following sports players like that, but unless if they're on the Rams.
If I wanted to, man, I can probably have a whole nother podcast about football. I know so much shit about football that like, he fucking hates it. I know he does. Fucking like me and my friend Brian, we'll talk about footballs for hours, just like all the shit going on. I don't know why. Like I think it was because ever since a young age, like I was very invested in football. And like when I was very younger, like football was like the thing. That's what men did. Like football was the badass sport that we all gravitated to. Nowadays for me, it's more MMA. Like I love the UFC. Like we do UFC podcasts all the time. We've only ever done one NFL podcast, and it was because we're both Eagles fans, so it was when the Eagles were in the divisional round versus the Giants. We did a podcast for that, but
I think I watched that one.
That's tough. We primarily do podcasts for like the UFC events though, and like I love the UFC now, so like that's kind of what my focus is shifted towards in terms of sports. Like now I can tell you pretty much anything about the UFC fight, like the current UFC fighters that are fighting. I could tell you like their skill sets, like what they're the best at, how many wins and losses. Like I'm not that good with that kind of shit, but like I know the flaws in fighters, I know the pros in fighters, I know the cons in fighters. So like that's my new like realm where like I'm really obsessed. I don't watch a whole lot of TV. I don't watch a whole lot of movies. Like I don't typically really do any of that. The thing that pulls me in and draws me in is definitely sports, like football and UFC for sure. Those are like the two things that like I stay up to date on. Like I could tell you everything about the NFL. Like I said, if I wanted to, I could have a fucking whole another podcast where I talk for 3 hours about the latest shit going on in the NFL if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
That shit, I don't know. My brain just saves that information differently than it does with other information. I don't know why.
That's how I feel about clothes. I've realized like you're trained your whole life to look at people's faces. I no longer do. I look at people's clothes. Like I'm driving down the street today, right? And I'm with my girlfriend. I think I was just taking her home. I see a guy walking towards me. He's got a jacket on. Yeah. And he has a shirt under it. And it's like a teal blue. And I instantly was like, I know that shirt. Yeah. It was a bootleg Rams shirt. Somebody in this area sold because my grandparents wore it for the Rams Super Bowl so that they could like be a part of like the Rams.
That's funny.
Yeah. And I was like, I instantly noticed it, instantly knew what it was. If I'm watching videos where there's like influential people wearing clothes, I know all of the, like what brand this is from, why they made it, who collabed with it. This, that, all of it. I don't know why.
So do you study the game a lot? Like, do you study like the art of just like one name I could think of instantly, like Virgil, R.I.P. Virgil, like people like that. Like, are you studying like these kinds of people? Like, are you trying to see like what they did, what sticks. And like, I know you were saying earlier how like you like to look at like big projects that people do and compare it to what you do and like try to get better in that way. Like, is that something you're doing? Are you like studying these great designers and like these people?
Yeah. And I need to like Virgil, for example, high fashion.
Yeah.
I need to study more about high fashion because high fashion kind of paved the way to like what you can get manufactured, what gets manufactured, crazy things versus like practical things. I don't really focus too much in that realm.
Yeah.
Virgil, however, is an exception. Virgil's incredible. So, but mostly like underground designers.
Yeah.
Pieces of, let me think of like an example. Oh, this shirt I have on, right? So this is from a brand called Unwanted.
Okay.
And they specialize in like these all over prints like this.
Yeah.
That's what I specialize in too. I love designing them, right? And I think like they did one like tee, like a solo tee or something a while ago, and instantly I was like, I need to do that. So I did a collection. It did great, better than any collection so far.
Yeah.
And then like stuff, people like that. His name. There's two owners, Jordan and Chase.
Yeah.
And they just make stuff like that, I guess, and they do hoodies, similar stuff. But this is kind of like my style. Like I love to like grunge stuff. Like this shirt is called the Apocalypse Tee. These 4 horsemen here are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Yeah. From the Bible. But yeah, that's mostly what I look at. Yeah.
So what is like, I guess to kind of build towards wrapping things up, like what is your I don't want to just say end goal because I feel like that's too typical. Like what's the next step for you? Like what is your vision going forward? Like what are you looking to achieve in like the upcoming years, or even like you could break it down the next couple of months or next couple of weeks. Fuck it if you want to. Like what are you building towards right now? Like what's the next big thing for you? Like what's the next project? Whatever it might be. Like what are you into right now?
Honestly, working on moving out of here.
Yeah.
That's cool. A big thing. I'm moving to Philly.
Really?
Yeah, in May. Yeah.
In May?
In May.
Wow. Yeah. Fuck, man. See, we got to rip that page out of your book, bro. We were just talking about that. What's the idea behind that, though? Like, what are you doing that for?
So I'm moving in with my girlfriend.
Really?
Yeah, she's most likely going to be getting a job there. She goes to school there now. Yeah. And then I just found a place together. Like, everything I do is completely remote. I design from my computer. I can go wherever the fuck, so it doesn't matter to me, But yeah, I've moved out of my house before. Yeah. And not that it didn't work out. I just I just left college. Yeah. But that was it was an alright experience, I guess.
Think you're ready for that? Move in with your girl? Take it serious? Like you think you're ready for all that?
Yeah.
Tough move, bro.
I think so. I think it only makes sense. Yeah. It's more so like I gotta get out of my parents' house. Yeah. Like I'll face whatever and deal with whatever. I just need to get out of my parents' house. Yeah. Type thing. But yeah, no, 100%. We haven't been together like even a year yet, almost a year in July.
Damn, that's a risk, brother.
Yeah, no,
I know you're probably making a good choice. I mean, you seem like you got your head on right.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Ooh, I think I stepped on the wire.
Good.
But yeah, no, it's definitely a risk, but I 100% think it's the right choice.
And even if it's not, man, like it's like you're bold enough to be willing to take that risk and like to just bet on yourself to like I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna figure it the fuck out. And I think like that's what's most important. Even if it doesn't work out, it's like the willingness to be able to just go do that is like what I think is very badass. Like for us, it's like we have this trip to go to Dallas.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So our friend Matt Sachs, we've had him on the podcast twice. He's one of our really good friends. Darian just randomly ran into him in your jiu-jitsu gym, right? Yep. Savage kid. He really fucked with what we're doing, and Darian really fucked with like the mentality he had. So like when we met, I think, the first day I ever met Matt was the day we did the podcast, right? The first day, I think. Well, I know like we had like a run-in. Like we ran into each other while we were out to eat the one day. He said, "What's up?" Yeah. But besides that, like I didn't meet him or really knew much about him at all until he came to our studio to do our podcast, because we just knew that he was into he's into web development, he's into the tech space, he's into all that kind of stuff. He like develops apps and like websites and all those kinds of things. So he's a really smart kid. And right off the bat of like, right when I met Matt, like I was like, all right, yeah, this kid's different. Cause like he brought me and Darian both, and granted, like I said, he didn't know me at all yet. I didn't know him at all yet. Brought me Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, the book, with like,
that's lit.
He wrote like a paragraph on like a unique paragraph on the inside for me, like, thanks for having me on the show. Like I'm not gonna air out everything you said, but it was really valid. Like I felt like from the heart, like Matt's a savage. Like most people don't do shit like that. Like to like reach out and like really try to make an impact that way, which he did. The reason I'm explaining all this is because he moved to Dallas to take up a job opportunity with a startup company who does just that. Like they work in the tech space, web development, all that stuff. So he has a place out there now. He invited us to come down and just check Dallas out for however long we wanted to stay. Actually, before that, we actually, what month is it? March? Was it this month or late February we were supposed to go to Colombia?
February, March time.
Yeah. So like right around this time, me, him, and our friend Matt were actually supposed to go I keep doing that. We were supposed to go to Colombia. And that ended up not working out because of his trip to go to Dallas to work for this company. They told him he'd probably have to push it to late in the year. So we're still going to go, but like later on in the year, maybe like November, December time. Yeah. So he invited us to come out to Dallas, check it out for a week. And we were like, fuck it. Like we're kind of in the phase now where, and granted, there's still definitely a lot of people left we have yet to do podcasts with in this area that we still want to do podcasts with. But we're in the point now where it's like, we're only going to hit the bigger and better and like the bigger opportunities by going to different states, going to different countries, traveling to do like our show elsewhere. And we figured, fuck it, we'll just take a week, we'll come down and we'll have fun. But at the same time, like, let's fucking schedule some podcasts while we're down there. So like we scheduled a few podcasts with some pretty cool cats down there in Dallas. So we're going to go down there and
that's exciting.
Yeah,
man.
That's going to be dope.
It's fun.
Wait, how you guys going to like do the setup? You're going to like find just like a table?
We travel. We do travel pods all the time. So
okay.
Yeah, we just basically pack up all of our stuff, our camera, our microphones, and we just set up in the coolest spot we can find.
That thread
so
needle
exciting.
it together. Like this, even like our studio, like there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but like some, like you can see, and you go back to some of our earlier videos, like some of the places we've done, the lighting's god awful. Not that we have the best fucking equipment by any means, but you never know what you're going to get when you're doing these travel pods. That's why, like, I think that kind of adds like a cool little element to it too. Not that it would make anybody want to watch it more, but it's like, we're willing to do these podcasts where the fuck ever. I'll do this shit on the highway during rush hour. I don't give a fuck. Like, we'll figure it out somehow.
That's so exciting.
And so yeah, we're gonna go out there. We're just gonna fucking figure it out. We're putting our equipment in carry-on. Like, we're just gonna bring this shit with us. Hope like everything works out. But like, that's kind of what I was getting at earlier. Like, you got to be willing to take these decisions and like these things that we're trying to do, and you got to be willing to do it. And right now we really are. So we're like, fuck it, let's just give it a try. So yeah, we're going down there. I forget how we started talking about Dallas, but yeah, that's where we're going.
Yeah,
we're gonna conquer Dallas.
That's exciting, man. Everyone's going to Austin, I've heard as well.
That's like the new hub.
Yeah, it's the new hub.
Going down.
We're gonna try to make it there for a little bit if we could, but like, we're only going for a week, so we'll see like how it works. Because from Dallas to Austin is like from here to Pittsburgh. It's still like a 5-hour ride. So,
right. What's next? Like, what do you guys have to get, like, equipment-wise next?
New cameras.
Yeah, definitely new cameras.
New laptop for sure, or some type of computer.
Yeah.
Lighting, and that's really it. We can innovate.
Yeah, I have a MacBook for sale.
Really?
Yeah.
What year?
2017.
Can't do it. See, that's like our problem is like especially from when I hear about newer MacBooks is like that's what's gonna, because we want to start producing 4K video too, and like. The older MacBooks, like from my knowledge, and granted, I'm no fucking computer expert, but like older MacBooks have a really hard time with just rendering 4K. Not that we initially just want to jump into 4K, but I want to get like what I know will work the best, because at some point, I know we had briefly mentioned like the bus thing we want to do earlier, and just like traveling in general, we want to start like shooting like just regular content, like where we just. I don't want to say vlogs. I think vlogging's kind of corny. But
that would be cool if we did that in Dallas. Though.
Yeah, something similar to that.
That'd be exciting.
That'd be dope.
Like recording ourselves on the go, and like the processing power of older Macs definitely can't do that. They might be able to work for like just rendering like a 1080p podcast, like which we film our resolution is 1080p. That's what we film in. So it can probably handle that. But for what we want to do in the future, it probably won't. So that's why I've just been saving a fuck ton of money to just buy like a fully loaded, like maxed out, like 2022 MacBook. That way I know no matter what, like it'll do everything I need it to do. But besides that, just like cameras, because we want to have, like we have our one wide shot. That's like the typical angle that we do like for our podcast. But we want to have like cameras, like one that hits me directly, one that hits him directly, and then one that hits the guest or like you directly, and then still have like a wide shot. So we're still looking to get like 3 more cameras, either some kind of PC or some kind of laptop, because we're going to be traveling, so I'll probably need to get a laptop anyways.
Yeah.
And besides that, just increasing.
What kind of laptop is that?
This is just some HP. Funnily enough, the only reason I keep this thing around is because this is what I started on. Like this is the laptop I edited and rendered the first ever podcast on. So that's like really the only reason I still keep this thing. It's because it. Like,
you gotta put it in like a case.
Yeah, one day. Fucking. Hopefully we'll get that big. But
yeah.
Fucking. Yeah. So that's the only reason I have that. I actually edit on a fucking like a 2006 gaming laptop. So like. It's really fucking old, so you think like it wouldn't be able to do like the things I need it to do, but because it was like a maxed out gaming computer with like really good graphics and like all those good, like it really works for what I need it to do right now. But it's definitely not a forever. It's like a beater car. Like I'm gonna use this shit until I can like afford a better one, and it's been handling it up until.
Bro, we found it in an abandoned building.
Yeah.
What?
True story. Yeah. So
you gotta tell me about that.
We actually can't get too much into that for reasons. Our lawyer told us not to talk about that.
We'll tell you off camera. We'll tell you off camera. Just bring it back up. But
for sure. That's crazy though.
Yeah, and it was broken. Like we found a broken computer in an abandoned building that didn't even work. And our friend Walter, who was another guest that we had on our podcast, is like, for some reason, like. The kid, when I knew him at the time, he reminded me of like Tony Stark. Like he can take something like this and turn it into like a fucking iPhone somehow. Like I don't know how the fuck he does it, but he basically took the whole computer apart. I ordered a new battery. He was like testing a bunch of things that could potentially be wrong with it. We found out that to boil it down, it was probably just the battery. So I just bought a new battery. He put the new battery in there. Shit worked like a charm. So
holy shit, man! Shout out Walter.
Yeah, savage.
Big dog Walt.
Beast.
He's like a crazy content creator too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, on the side. Like, well, not on the side. That's his main thing. But yeah, on TikTok he has like 800K, but that's like he's like one of those kids that like loves creating like that style of content. Like he loves creating like
the dance videos.
Yeah, like that style of like TikTok. He's like a very like
he's a different type.
Yeah,
of cat.
He's a very different guy. He's like a very weird like out there kind of cat, like who you wouldn't. Another kid that he just met randomly on a walk. Like that's like how
that's crazy.
A lot of the people we meet, like even you, I forget like how we ended up meeting up.
I think I just shot you guys DM once.
So like yeah, like we end up just meeting all you guys like so randomly, and it always turns out to be like so cool how it works out. Cause like we luckily haven't ran into anybody like yet that was too much of a shyster. So like, yeah. So
we're pretty good at avoiding the shysters.
Yeah. I think it's just like it's a vibe thing. Like it's an energy. Like I could just typically tell like, we don't really want to do a podcast with that guy, or like, we don't really like, we could just tell like something might be a little off. Like it is what it is. We'll just keep on moving or
whatever.
I
don't know if I've met any shysters.
That's our new key term.
Older guys, man. They try and like I've met people, bro, that are like, oh my god, like yo, you young kids are doing this merch, like I'm definitely gonna get with you guys, and then try and get me to do shirts for 30 cents a print. Yeah, and I'm like, my man, bro. Like,
yeah, that's the shysters in the business realm. That's what you really got to watch out. Like he and I came to a conclusion recently that. Hold on. He and I came to a conclusion recently that. I don't want to just say fuck this, like none of it matters, but we're kind of on the fence of like one of the biggest sources of revenue for podcasters is sponsors. We're kind of like fuck the sponsors. Like it's not really in our heart to be reaching out to these people and begging for money and like doing those kinds of things. It's really not what we're interested in doing. So we're kind of on like the fuck the sponsor kind of field where kind of like fuck the algorithm. Like everybody says like, oh, like this is the fastest way to grow on YouTube. It's the fastest way to get this X amount of subscribers, X amount of views. But we're like, fuck it. Like we'd rather just do it the way we want to do it and let it come natural.
Yeah.
So
that's definitely harder.
It is a lot harder. But I think like if you're going to do anything for the long haul, or like if you're really in it to win it, then fuck it being a little bit easier here. Like you might as well just go the route you want to go. Yeah, especially if you plan on doing it forever. Like I have a thought, and it's not sure proof by any stretch, but I think if you're an overnight success, it's not going to last. Like good luck making an overnight succession happen. Like or good luck making that last. Like truthfully, I wish you the best of luck, but good luck.
That's a good way to look at it.
I think it's like the slow grind of building. Because I think like if you're appealing to the algorithm, yeah, you might find some people that genuinely fuck with what you're doing. But a lot of those people are just thirsty for content. They could find what you have anywhere, or they can find what they hope to get out of you anywhere. So just produce what you like to do. And I think you, in doing that, will just cultivate a better audience of people that actually really give a fuck about what you're doing because they sought out your content. They found your content and then stuck around, and then they kept coming back. And that's a better community. I also have like an idea where you shouldn't ask for too much up front. That's why we haven't sold any merch yet, or we haven't asked for donations from our viewers or anything like that. Like don't don't do a whole lot of asking up front, so that like when you're really there and like you really need the support, that shit will just come your way. Like they will just give it to you because they know like you've earned it and you're deserving of like what they are giving you in return. So like that's why I don't think you need to like milk your followers or your subscribers like in terms of that. Like if you're creating content, like in other realms, like you sell merch, obviously you need to make sales, you need to meet sales. That makes sense. But for like what we do, it's like fuck that. Like I'd rather like let them come to us naturally, let them build a love for us naturally. That way, like when we really like need the help or we really want to push some merch or we really want to push this new crazy idea that we have that we need funding for, they'd be willing to do it. They'd be more willing to do it than if we're just asking you for this, asking you for that. Because I know there's so many podcasters out there that are just asking for donations all the time or asking for this, that, and the third. And granted, it works. I'm sure the money feels good and they're getting a little bit of money here and there. But like I know this route, like it'll work out better. That's just how I feel. I don't know. I'm no expert in this field, but
no, yeah. I mean, that's a lot of people like that's interesting to say that because people's like followers on Instagram and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of like how currency is diluted. Yeah, currency is not worth as much because people, if someone has, like you just said, someone has 800K. Yeah, your homie has 800K on TikTok. Something like that is probably worth like 10K on Instagram. Yeah. Because those 800,000 followers are just scrolling through content.
They're just thirsty for anything to view.
And it's like you can't get them to do nothing. Yeah. And if say we had like 5 million followers on TikTok. We're like, all right, everybody follow us on Instagram. You probably get like a couple 100K.
It's crazy, like the triangle pattern which that takes. He and I were actually just talking about the other day, like YouTube versus Instagram. And I think you can break that down so many ways. Like if you have 1 million followers on TikTok, chances are you have less than 100K on Instagram. And that's if you take Instagram seriously. And then let's say another subcategory, let's say you take YouTube somewhat seriously too. So you have 1 million on TikTok, a little less than 100K on Instagram. You probably only have like 50,000 to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. So like every one of those channels, it just gets smaller and smaller. Because on certain platforms, I don't know why, but it's a bigger ask to like click the follow button on some apps than it is on others. Like Instagram or TikTok, it's very easy to just click follow. But on YouTube, like one thing I've realized on YouTube, because we primarily post our content on YouTube, is that it's very hard to get somebody to push the subscribe button.
It involves more clicks.
Well, yeah. Not only that, though, I know this from like just personal use too, because I am a heavy consumer of YouTube. Like I will have YouTubers that I really, 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 really enjoy watching their content, and I could even watch their content every day. But because their shit just pops up in my recommended feed, I never have to click subscribe. Truthfully, I don't even think about it because their content is just there. Like if I want to watch whoever, like if I want to watch fucking Mr. Beast, I just know Mr. Beast's content is going to be on my feed. Why? Like I don't even think to subscribe or to like or to do any of those things because I'm going to get the content either way.
That's a good way to think about it. I don't follow Mr. Beast. I see all of his shit.
Yeah. You know? That's just how it happens. I don't get it. I really don't. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, with us, one of our bigger things that we tried to focus on doing is just give back as much as we could. Like we had like this Thanksgiving drive that we did last year where we gave out 100 meals for Thanksgiving. We gave away a PS5.
I saw that.
So yeah, we did like these cool little things here and there. We have another one in the works currently that we're thinking about doing. And really all we've ever asked for in return was just to subscribe. Like that's all we want. Cause we're just trying to build this and like, hopefully we can continue to do like those crazy things and these crazy plans and these crazy ideas that we have. We just want to keep grinding and just keep doing what we do best. And that's all we ask for is a fucking subscribe. So subscribe. What are you doing?
Subscribe, man. For real. If you made it this far, you have to subscribe.
Yeah, you got to, right?
For real.
But fuck, guys, we almost just went 3 hours. You might be like one of the longest just regular guest podcasts we've ever done.
Go.
Yeah, like truthfully.
Hell yeah.
Most of like our UFC podcasts typically always go over 3 hours because it's just the UFC and they run forever. But actually, I'm going to look at that real quick because you might officially have been the longest guest we've ever had.
That's hype if I am, man.
That would be kind of gnarly.
Honored.
So let's see.
You going to do any sending down in Texas?
Potentially. Like I said, he's completely sober, and I know like my friend Matt, he just doesn't strike me as the type. Bro. Yeah, he doesn't strike me as the type to like do any drinking or anything. Like that.
Yeah.
I'm really not even the biggest drinker. I don't know if I said that on this podcast, but I feel like
you said earlier.
Yeah, I turned 21 in December. I've never went to the bar. Like it's just not really me. It's not. I don't know. It was never like in high school. Like I did it a little more than I'm happy to admit. But like I don't know that whole lifestyle. It was never really for me because like when I go out, I just always like I feel this angst of like I don't know if anybody else experiences this, but when I go to those places and I'm in a party around like a bunch of drunk people and like a bunch of women and a bunch of like guys that are just chasing women and money, and I feel like I don't belong. Like when I'm there, like I feel like I'm like the biggest imposter. I'm the biggest faker in this entire room because I just don't belong here. And I'm trying to make it seem like I do, and I just don't. And I feel like I give off a weird vibe when I'm in those situations because like I'm just constantly in fight or flight. Like I just feel like I don't belong here. I need to fucking get out of here. I need to go somewhere. And that's why typically if I'm ever at a party, you'll find me outside. I won't be fucking inside.
I feel that.
But yeah, bro, I think you fucking are.
Let's go.
That's insane.
Korey turned a new record.
Let's go. I want someone to beat my. Actually, I don't want anyone to beat my record.
Yeah, the next closest one it seems like was James Delaney.
Yeah, we went for a while with him. What was that?
2.5. 2.5.
Okay.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
2.5.
What time is it now?
Coach James. We're at 2:45 right now.
Sick.
So
sick. That's hype.
Well, fuck. I mean, hey, man. I guess we'll wrap it up on there. Korey, you're a fun guy to talk to, man. I had a good time here.
I appreciate it, man. You guys are awesome as well. I look forward to doing more business with you guys, and more podcasts and everything.
Fuck
I
yeah.
See everything come to fruition. I'm glad to be here from the
Absolutely.
beginning.
Yeah, no, we'll talk more about all that shit because we would definitely love to pick your brain more about the merch. That's one thing we really wanted to do in this podcast is ask you more questions about like shit that we were curious on, but we just never really got to because we were talking about other shit.
Part 2.
So yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely talk to you about more of that shit. Make sure to like plug anything you want to plug. We're late here in the video. If you fucking made it this far, good luck.
Follow. If I have it in my bio of my Instagram, follow it. Also follow Miller McCoy.
Word.
Follow my mom. My mom's a realtor. Follow my mom.
There you go.
Yeah.
Get some business.
Oh yeah, 100%. Kelly Turner, realtor. Gotta follow my mom if you're looking to buy or sell a house. That's probably it for now.
And you're just Korey Turner, Korey with a K on Instagram, right?
Immortal Korey.
There you go. Immortal Korey. Make sure to give that a follow. We'll tag you. We'll do a collab post with you in this area.
Yeah.
So
let's do it.
You guys will find them. Make sure to tap in, follow all the mats. Let's fucking go.
Subscribe.
Korey, you're a savage. Let's
Peace.
go.
Appreciate it.
Let's go.